Hello and welcome to Saturday Night Shoggy. Yeah. I am your co-host Marion, and with me today I have these lovely people, Sakaki and VLord. Say hello.
Go on with your sexy bad self.
What the heck?
Hello, people.
Yeah.
Just roll with it. It's Saturday night. We're allowed to be a little freaky.
A little raunchy. SNS After Dark.
Like a little Randy Lass, yes.
What the fuck? You sound, I don't even know. You sound like, I don't know. You took the bit a little too far. Anyway, this is the June episode, and we're here to bring you news, updates, just stuff to talk about when it comes to Shogakukan manga, because that's what we're all about. Saturday Night Shoggy is dedicated to bringing you all kinds of information and news and updates, and like I just said, stuff based on Shogakukan, which is a Japanese publisher. Whether it's Japanese or North American news, we got it. So why don't we get into it? Actually, I don't know what I usually start with. Let's go with VLord this time. Give me the English news.
Yeah, so in terms of English news, there hasn't been much at all. Insert cricket sounds here.
We'll do that in post, don't worry. Actually, we're not.
But yeah, the only notable thing is that as of the week that we are recording this, we're supposed to get some sort of news on the Uzumaki anime. So hopefully it's a release date or a new trailer or something, because outside of the tidbits of footage we've seen of it so far, we haven't gotten a ton. So I'm hoping for some more meat about it, because it looks really good, but we just don't know how far along it really is.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a miniseries, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be 4 episodes, I believe.
Okay.
What's the studio on it? If you know.
I forgot, but it's the director for Mushishi.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the director that did Mushishi Nagahama, and I believe the studio is Studio Drive. Yeah, Studio Drive, and Production IG is overseeing the overall production.
Okay, so that sounds pretty decent.
Yeah, and the PV that they have shown so far looks really good. If you didn't know any better, you could mistake it just for literal panels of the manga, just because they've replicated Ito's art style so well. But I need more. I just need more.
Well, hopefully they'll be able to give you more VLord for your sake. I mean, I haven't really gotten into any Ito, so I mean, if this is as good as it sounds like it'll be, maybe this will be my first time actually experiencing something he's done.
Yeah, I mean, Ito's work is really good, especially a lot of his Shoggy published works like Remina and Uzumaki. So I would definitely recommend checking out those.
Okay.
Yeah, I for one would love to see a proper adaptation of the Naruto prequel.
God.
I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean.
His last name is Uzumaki.
You know people are gonna make those jokes, especially since it's coming to Toonami.
I mean, yes, but for a second I forgot. Okay, you know me, I am very much not a Naruto fan, so I try to bleach that part of my brain.
Yeah, no, that's completely fine.
I see what you said there. Yeah.
No.
Oh
no.
No.
I'm taking this out after. This will be taken out in post. No, it won't.
I gotta get those jokes out of the way a couple months at a time. It's the lowest of hanging fruit. It's practically on the floor.
True. I mean, I would actually. I respect you for going for it.
Marion and their pun game. It's unmatched.
Well, can't be punished.
Hi folks, this is future VLord here to follow up on the Uzumaki news. On June 15th, Adult Swim released an update video on the Uzumaki anime featuring director Hiroshi Nagahama, and basically Nagahama runs down the current state of production and where things stand. The video also included a beautiful new teaser for the anime and revealed a new release window of October 2022. So we've got another year until the anime comes out, but it seems like it's going to be worth it, so I'll be waiting in anticipation. But Marion, do you know what's also unmatched?
What is VLord?
The June Shoggy releases.
Ooh, like what?
So, this month we have 3 new series getting published in English. And the first of them is a little bit raunchy. It has a bit of spice.
You say a little bit. I don't know. I don't know your standards, VLord.
More like a lot of it.
Yeah, it's a lot. It is Yakuza Lover by Nozomi Mino. And this is being published by Viz Media on June 1st. And in Japan, it's published in premium cheese. Not just cheese. Premium cheese.
Finely aged only for the most discerning of palates.
But I mean, as long as the plot isn't Swiss, then, you know, we should be good. But it sounds like this is the kind of thing you don't read for the plot. You read for a very specific...
You read for the plot!
I read Playboy for the articles. No, you know, it sounds
from like the little I've read of it, it seems pretty good. Like it's about like a college student named Yuri who's like saved by a young Yakuza boss, and they kind of just get into this relationship, which has a lot of sex. And the manga shows a good chunk of that sex.
Well, you're getting that premium cheese.
Guess so. Yeah, this is what I do want to dig into further, though, because I have heard legitimately good things about it beyond just like, oh, there's some like a bunch of sex scenes. There seems to be some deeper substance there.
Yeah, I think I'm like, I was interested as soon as it was announced, just because like the Yakuza guy from the cover, like, see, oh, he has the elaborate back tattoos, but also he's a Megane. He has glasses. I don't know why that just like, glasses Yakuza. I'm about it.
Oh, yeah.
This might awaken something in me.
Got your glasses over. True patrician of taste.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I like glasses. That's my thing. But
oh dear.
Okay, let's move on.
Our next series that is debuting in June, also on June 1st, but by 7 Seas, is one that Sakaki probably has the most familiarity with.
Is it Ryoko?
No.
I don't care. You don't even have to say the rest. I'm depressed. But no, what is it?
It's The Tale of the Outcast by Makoto Hoshino.
Ah, true. Yes, I did forget that. That is coming out in June. I should actually try to get it or something.
Yeah, and it's obviously serialized in Weekly Shonen Sunday, and as of now, it's already ended at 8 volumes.
Yeah.
Okay. Solid. Nice 8-volume series.
Yeah. Sakaki, what is Tale of the Outcast actually about?
So, from the little bit I remember, it's about a demon who can't be seen by humans. Like, and, you know, he's pretty cool with this whole situation because, like, nobody can see him, but he's also sort of lonely, too. Like, it is what it is. And he meets this girl, and, you know, for a second, he and her... I forget exactly the details, but I know he and her end up spending some time together. For a second, he's just kind of like, oh, I'll fine. I can hang out with this human for a little while. It's not like it's going to matter. I have eternity. So, and for a little while, yeah, they hang out and everything like that. And then, I believe that like, something happens to her. And to save her life, you know, he gives her some of her power. But for whenever that happens, the human has to give something up and she loses her eyesight. And from there on, you know, she swears to stay by him, and he's like, okay, maybe humans aren't so bad, and that's pretty much the premise of the series. They're wandering around like the time period's around the time because I know Sherlock Holmes is a character in this series, so it's around that time period. And they meet other characters who have been contracted to demons and stuff like that. So yeah, it definitely fits a niche that is popular now, which is like the supernatural guy and the normal girl going. I mean, it starts off as kind of like a I guess you could say I don't want to call it like a romance series because there really isn't any romance between the, but it starts off as less of a battle manga, it becomes one. So
It's one of those.
yeah, it's kind of like the modern Sunday Yu Yu Hakusho, but like then yeah, it becomes a battle manga, and yeah. So you know, if you're into that, I haven't seen Magnus Bride, so I don't want to compare it to that, but it seems to have some of the same vibes from what people have told me that have read but have experienced both. But yeah, so and Makoto Hoshino's art's really good. Like, I don't know what they were doing before the series, but if this is their first serial, it's an amazing start. It is kind of a shame that towards the end of the series they started like experiencing some burnout. But like they were really appreciative to Shogakukan for letting them take lots of breaks and get the series just the way they wanted it. So, but yeah, I don't think it really ended because of Hoshino's like health. It really wasn't selling very well. And to give Shogakukan all the credit, they advertised it a whole lot. Like they gave it lots of color pages. They released 2 volumes at a time for the first, I want to say second and third or first or second. They did a whole lot of stuff that was for advertising it, and it just really never took off.
Yeah, that's a shame.
There's probably something I shouldn't say when the first volume's coming out, and we want people to kind of get it, but it is a good series. I bought the first couple of volumes. I need to buy the rest in Japanese, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed seeing it in some.
Yeah, I mean, I bought the first volume on Bookwalker, and just browsing through it, it looks interesting, so it's caught my attention at the very least. So it's won me over in that regard.
Yeah, one thing I really like that Hoshino does for their flashback scenes is they have a film reel like frame around the flashbacks, which is something that's really cool. Like, if nothing else, like that's something that I'll take away from Outcast and remember.
Dang, that's awesome.
Yeah, I really liked it. But yeah, and I mean, hopefully Hoshino will come back to something else with Sunday. But I know VLord and I talked about this a few times, which is that it's likely that Seven Seas picked this up because they knew it would be short, and it fits that niche really well of, you know, manga of its type that are kind of popular. So
yeah, like these type of fantasy stories are the kind that Seven Seas will usually go after.
Yeah, and knowing that it's not going to be a long running series probably was just to sweeten the pie or whatever. So
yeah, nice low commitment. But hey, maybe we will cover it when they eventually release all the volumes in English.
Yeah.
Which should be like sometime next year, because I think they're doing bi-monthly on it. So pretty fast.
Yeah, I would welcome an opportunity to read it again. I think I only have like the first 3 volumes in Japanese, so then I just kind of got busy and fell off of it. But I did read it every week and Sunday and really enjoyed it. So definitely pick it up.
Yeah, and the last new manga for June is the fanciest of them all. The finest wine among all manga. Starring the legendary Pink Puffball. It's Kirby Manga Mania.
Oh, God.
Ah, yes. Where you get to see Kirby get drunk. Totally Nintendo appropriate.
Yes, indeed.
How did they get away with it?
Koro's one hell of a drug, people.
Yeah, so for context here, this is a comedy gag manga about the Kirby video game franchise, and it's done by Hirokazu Hikawa, and the Manga Mania release itself is specifically based off of a 25-volume manga in Japan that's called Kirby of the Stars, The Legend of King Dedede in Dreamland. And yeah, this one is kind of a best of collection of that, though interestingly, it is a best of collection that's also been published in Japan, of chapters specifically selected by Hikawa themselves. And I guess Hikawa really wanted to start off with Kirby getting drunk.
I mean, VLord showed us some of this, and I did read a little bit of it, like, but it's wild. It is truly a wild ride. But as I said, Koro adaptations of like video games and other like things like that, they are usually pretty out there. Like, you're not gonna get the Kirby that you see from. I mean, yeah, it's based on the games, which it's not gonna be the same thing. If you're expecting like cuteness like you would from the games, and prepare to have your expectations defied.
Yeah, like they kind of joke about like how Kirby and Dedede usually act in like the games, of them being like these like bitter arch nemesis. But in the manga itself, they're more buddy, and Kirby is just the embodiment of chaos, just destroying things all over the place and causing trouble for Dedede. And in the midst of this, Dedede is essentially the straight man. He's reacting like Kirby, just messing everything up. Like, there's one chapter where they have to prepare for like a storm or hurricane, and Kirby decides to help out with the preparations by effectively destroying everything. Because Kirby thinks that by testing how easy it is to destroy the buildings and everything, they'll be able to build better buildings.
I mean, I can see the wisdom in that logic.
Yes, but how will they build the new buildings in time if Kirby just destroys everything?
Details, silly details.
Yeah, another interesting thing to note too is that Viz actually tried to release this manga back in around 2011. They announced that they were going to release this Kirby manga, but then they suddenly just canceled plans to do it. So it's interesting that they're kind of going back and now actually doing it.
I wonder what happened there. Like, that's a long time for it to just fall through. Though, as we discover when we were kind of just investigating things, there's actually no digital edition of this manga in Japan, which is really strange because like some of the other Nintendo series that are run through Koro actually do have digital editions. So I kind of wonder if that had anything to do with it at all.
I wouldn't think so, because back then, I don't think Viz did as much digital as they do now.
No, I just feel like, what if it's because I'm just saying, I was just wondering from a level of like rights or something like that, because like, again, it's weird that this series specifically, like this Kirby series specifically, has no digital. I mean, I know I'm reaching and it's fine, but like, yeah, I was just kind of wondering about that because all the other ones do. And then this one specifically, so I just wonder if there's something on Hikawa's end. Maybe they're just like, no, there's something else I want to do, or with some kind of negotiations or something. I don't know.
Gotta forecast an extra dosh for that.
Yeah, it's peculiar. I know that there is like a bigger history to this manga that I think the Manga Imaginations folks went into on their podcast. So I do recommend listening to that. I don't know which episode it is specifically, but there's a whole mess of things in there.
Definitely listen to that. I'm going to have to track that down because I'm really curious about this after finding out the whole digital.
Yeah, it's also weird with like digital specifically for Koro manga. Specifically Koro Nintendo manga. Because for some reason, besides Pokemon, Viz never seems to get the digital rights to them.
Oh.
I just wonder if there's like more effort to get the rights for... to get the digital rights. I mean, I doubt it, right? It would be...
It's probably like, how are kids gonna buy digital manga?
Yeah, I mean,
they're probably just depending on like the parents to buy it physically or some shit.
Yeah, I mean, and Pokemon is like a thing. I mean, they keep picking up all the different Pokemon manga iterations, so they probably just figured that's actually going to sell, so why not? But
they probably have some kind of sales data to support that model, or it's just something they haven't tried because...
I feel like there must be some sort of barrier, though, because digital manga is still a big source of revenue, so cutting that off when you have the option to do so just feels weird to me. So I think it's more so like, even if Viz wants it, it might be more effort than it's worth to get it for them.
Yeah, it might be... I feel like it might be a thing, like, either... Because, like, Nintendo... I know that Disney has like a huge thing with like Japanese manga that's licensed. A lot of them don't have like digital distribution, or like it's very rare to see that. Like stuff that you would see from like, I think like the Kingdom Hearts manga was like one of the big ones that like it either like it never had like a digital release, or like maybe like the first time it did, it was like a huge deal because it was just like, oh wow, these Disney characters being depicted in a comic, like they weren't like available digitally for a long time. So it might be something similar with Nintendo, because I know Nintendo was very protective over their IPs.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be surprised about that.
Yeah, I wouldn't. That wouldn't surprise me either, because it is just interesting that they're choosing to do this, especially since, I mean, I know, especially since Shogakukan's really kind of behind digitally. So they're just now doing a lot of things that other publishers have been doing for a very long time. So I wouldn't be surprised if that also ties into it. Where just Shogakukan's kind of just slow to the game. But again, I agree with VLord. It's just, it would be more effort to get digital, to sell these digital for series that probably aren't like super high priority versus like Pokemon, which, you know, that'll sell. So
Yeah, I mean, to be fair to you, even with Pokemon, it took them a really long time to start being able to release Pokemon Adventures and a lot of those digitally.
And didn't you say that they're only releasing like a specific one digitally, not all of them?
Yeah, so they released the Tonkabon versions of Pokemon Adventures digitally, and then the movie adaptations.
Interesting. It also makes me wonder why, and I just thought about this, why we got Pokemon Rebirth. Like, I mean, by now that's probably just not going to happen because it's really tied to Gen 5. But it felt like the kind of thing that you would think would have been the shoe-in. It ran in Weekly Sunday. I mean, it's weird to me.
Yeah, that is strange. I mean, who knows? Maybe they thought it just wouldn't do well.
Yeah, it might have been that. But I mean, I feel like with Pokemon, like that's the one franchise you could take like that risk for. I mean, they got Bakagiyamon by the same author.
Oh god, it is the same author.
The artist. But yeah, they got Bakagiyamon, and like they didn't get the anime of that clearly because that was also something they didn't do super duper well. But like technically you could say Bakagyamon's like the only Shoggy thing that Fujita that had anything to do with that we could legally get.
Yeah, but I guess like Rebirth was what, 2011?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think by then Viz was definitely taking a safer approach to licensing. Because like we've said this before, like it's very obvious Viz usually goes with what's going to be a guaranteed hit or something that has the potential to be a guaranteed hit.
But VLord, it's Pokemon.
Yes, but it's an obscure Pokemon. It doesn't have Ash. It doesn't have your recognizable elements of nostalgia.
Fine, I guess if you're gonna use logic, you might be on this thing. No, I get what you mean. Yeah, there's no like associated like writer or the artist. I mean, the artist at Byakugama, that like you can't even bank off of that. Like,
I mean, who remembers Bakagyaimon besides us?
I don't
Literally,
think
not even me.
Yeah, I was about to say, do we remember it?
We just remember it because of Fujita.
Basically,
we just
yeah.
know Fujita's name's on it.
Yeah, he was the writer for that. I would love to see him. Yeah, he was a writer for another too. So like he's dabbled in like doing things besides drawing. So
yeah.
But yes.
One day we'll get another Fujita manga.
One day.
But until then we have some continuing releases in June as well. To go down the list, we have on June 1st, Teasing Master Takagi Volume 11. Then on June 8th, we have Call of the Night Volume 2, How Do We Relationship Volume 3, Komi Can't Communicate Volume 13, and Pokemon Adventures Collector's Edition Volume 8. Then on June 15th, we have the final 20th Century Boys Perfect Edition volume, which is the 21st Century Boys, the Perfect Edition. And then we have My Sonokoku Collector's Edition, Volume 4. And then lastly, on June 22nd, we have Blood on the Tracks Volume 6, Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken Volume 2, and then the digital-only releases of Rinne Volume 31, Hayate the Combat Butler Volume 33, and Hayate the Combat Butler Volume 34. And what's also important to note there with those digital-onlys is that finally fills the digital gap for both Rinne and Hayate. So you can now buy the entirety of what Viz has released so far of both of those series digitally.
Yatta!
And I mean, how much more? I mean, Hayate still got like a long time to go before it's actually completed. Like, Rinne will be done July, right?
Yup, July. Very soon. But Hayate is gonna be a very long while.
Watch, they're gonna like catch. I mean, at this point, yeah, they're definitely gonna be like. Obviously, Tonikaku's like the priority. Wow, words. So
Proverb.
The proverb.
True, it is the holy test.
It truly is. But yeah, like, I mean, at this point,
I'm just amazed that we live in a future where Hayate the Combat Butler is going to be finished and reborn, and Gintama or not. It's very funny.
That's true.
Yeah, so like at the pace that they're going with Hayate, because at the end of this year they'll release Hayate Volume 38, I believe, and they release 2 volumes per year. So that it's going to take 7 more years for them to get to the end, because that's 14 volumes.
God, I just wonder.
Boys.
See you in 2028, folks.
I just wonder at this point if like Shogakukan's holding their head to like holding a gun to their head to complete it. You made us give this to you.
Part of me feels like, yeah, it's like a firefighter situation where like it doesn't sell well, but they have to.
You can only publish Tonikaku if you finished all of Hayate within 10 years. And it's like Jigsaw at the Shoggy office, just like, yes, you're going to play my little game.
Yeah, I mean, this is a bit off topic, but like, I'm kind of glad that they didn't wait until they finished Hayate to license Tonikaku.
It would never.
No. I mean, at this point, as we just said, like their model seems to be, you know, stuff that's gonna be a hit or has a likelihood to be a hit, and things with anime tend to, you know, slide on that scale of being a hit. So, like, it's clear with most of their licensed Shoggy things now that they're in the loop of, okay, this is going to get an anime soon. Or this is on board for an anime, you know?
Yeah, like, I remember when they announced Sleepy Princess before Komi, of all things. And we were like, huh, why did they go after Sleepy Princess? But now, if you flash forward to the present, Sleepy Princess's anime came out. It got very good reception. And I'm sure sales of the manga are up.
Yeah, it's almost like it's a good series. Wow.
Yeah, who would have guessed?
I mean, so, like, I guess we could say, I mean, it's still on subject, but, like, with all of the promoting they're doing for Zom 100.
Yeah, that still surprises me. Like, Zom 100 is getting so much buzz.
Yeah,
which is awesome, because, like, Zom is a really good manga.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't expect that for something that has no anime.
Yeah, unless, of course, it's gonna get one, which, I mean, it's lasted long.
Before it's a fucking Netflix live action.
Stop! No.
I mean, Alice in Borderland is doing well.
No. I don't accept that conclusion.
And the monkey's paw curls once more.
Oh my god.
I mean, it's lasted a while in Sunday GX, so it's gotta. I can't imagine them not doing something with it, whether it is a Netflix live action or an anime. Let's all hope it's an anime that will also probably be on Netflix only. But yeah, that's a thing. So
yeah, I mean, speaking promotion too, they've been doing a good job of promoting Yakuza Lover as well. So there's a lot of Shoggy love going around.
It's almost like they're better than Dark.
Oh my god.
It's okay. I bet no one from Dark Horse listens to this.
I mean,
if you do, feel free to at me.
it took them 7 months to do Azokin Volume 2. So
God. Okay.
They're still not done with Mob 2, right?
Yeah,
No.
they still haven't released Volume 7 of Mob.
Why do they keep getting our manga? Someone stop them. Stop. Okay, that's enough because we don't know.
Oh boy, this guy stinks.
Oh my god.
All right. I think
right.
this is a good time to transition into Japanese side of news. Sakaki, please take over.
Yes, I shall do that. So, I mean, the biggest thing probably for most people or everybody is that Rumiko Takahashi is now on Twitter, sort of. Like the tweet that she made several days ago, well, not her staff, more or less was a picture of Lum saying that, yeah, I suck at internet, so my staff's going to do this, but I'm here. So, right now the Twitter just seems to be her, like, people send her questions about anything and she answers them, and her staff members tweet it. You can find that at Rumik World 1010, or Rumik World 1010 to repeat it. God, my things I do at work are now seeping into my personal life. I need a vacation, help. But yeah, so that's the thing. If you're interested in asking Takahashi questions, I don't know if they're accepting them from anybody, but if they are, then by all means, you should ask her something.
Nice. Yeah, I imagine it could be something like I don't know if you know about this VLord, the World Trigger Twitter, where like Ashirahara has access to it, but he doesn't usually interact much. A lot of times they'll do like, do you have any questions for the author or whatever, and then they'll publish a few answers like in volume as like extras for stuff like that.
Oh yeah. I've seen some authors do that. Like I forgot who it was. Somebody was just kind of like No, I actually think it was Sei Fukui from who's doing a series on Sunday Now, where they would actually go on Twitter and be like, "Hey, if you have any questions, I'll answer them in the vault." So that's a kind of bit of self promotion on their part.
Yeah, that's neat. I like when publishers allow artists to get a little more not hands on, but like this is the kind of interaction that I prefer from Twitter rather than like letting fans like completely just be able to like bombard a personal account with like questions or comments or whatever, and it's just something about that is very overwhelming to me, just like conceptually. So it's nice that they have like a sort of buffer with the whole like staff taking care of it. So the actual author.
They can throw away all the Yashahime comments.
True.
Oh my God.
You know the assistant is like, okay, this person's muted, this person's muted.
Like, guys, there's an official Yashahime account. Do not keep asking these questions. Go ask that one.
Yeah, go complain about how shitty Yashahime is over there.
Exactly. I mean, that Twitter's still tweeting, so you can definitely go there and complain about it.
They gotta prep for season 2 and more disappointment.
God. Anyway, speaking of Twitter, technically Twitter, but Zettai Karin Children by Takashi Shina will be ending in 5 chapters. So by the time this is out, likely that'll be a little closer to happening. Like, it should be over right now. Sunday's on. The last issue out was 28, so 29 is coming out in the next coming week. So with that math, Zettai Karin Children should be finished by issue 34 or so, or 33 or 34. Math is not my thing. Graphic podcasting is my passion. But yeah, that's like, it's kind of sad as Zettai Karin Children or like Ghost Sweeper Mikami, both from Shina, have never been licensed because they're both pretty good series. Zettai Karin Children's anime got licensed, named Psychic Squad. Way back.
Neat. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's by Sentai. You can watch it on High Dive.
Nice. And I recommend that because that was actually my first contact with Zettai Karin Children, was the anime through less than scrupulous means. But I haven't watched it, but yeah, it's a thing that you should, have a look at if you're interested. But it is a big deal because like Zettai Contro's been running in Shonen Sunday since 2005, I believe. So this is like a big deal, something that's ending. Like this isn't just a cancellation series that started a year ago. This has been essentially a Sunday pillar and it's gone.
Yeah, it has legacy.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean Takashi Shinya's like he's a pretty cool guy. His TLC commentary is always trolling. He's always trolling on Twitter. Like he even sort of just kind of shadow dropped the series is ending soon because like, oh yeah, I've already written up all my contents answers for Setai Karan children. And nobody really knew what that meant until now, then the announcement, So, and he has said, I want to say late last year, this year, that he to end Setai Karan children and work on something new. So this isn't him going into retirement. He's going to come back with another series, hopefully in Weekly Sunday. Maybe not, because like his schedule's pretty similar to Oda. Not that, yes, that one. Where he takes like 3 weeks. He draws Setai Karan and it appears 3 weeks in the magazine, week off. So I don't know if that's just his preference for things and he has enough legacy that Shogakukan's like, sure, you can have that, or if it's just a thing where it's like, weekly pace is not his thing. So he just, I'm not sure what that is, but whether he'll go to Gesson or VLord's favorite big comic after this, who knows? But I hope he'll stick around a week Sunday. As we were discussing off mic, it feels like everything in Weekly Sunday could end within like a volume or two. In fact, a friend of mine, let me see if I can. But a friend of mine actually like put together what could end soon and how many volumes it needs to end. And I am not finding it like right away, but I do find it. I'll let you guys know. But essentially, like very many series, like Amano Megumi, I think that has like 2 more chapters left before the current volume it's in would be finished, and it's likely it's not going to there's no way that they're going to wrap up the story.
There's at least another volume.
Yeah, so that's not going to happen. Okay, here we go. Sobote needs 4 chapters, so it like I doubt that it's going to end in 4 chapters. So
4 chapters, more like 4 volumes.
That I crap.
I got you.
Yeah, thank you. I can kind of see from what I've read of that. Wow, Sobote, like it does seem like it could probably wrap up. It could probably wrap up in a volume or 2. Ponkotsu needs Ponkotsu-chan Kenshochu by Tsubasa Fukuchi. It needs 7 or 8 chapters. 7 or 8 chapters to complete another volume. Which, I could see Ponkotsu ending about that time. 7 or 8 chapters, which it's a shame because it just got to chapter 100. But, that's another one of Fukuchi's works that have made it to 100 chapters. So that's something to celebrate.
Yeah.
And
he did say something about like, oh, it's approaching the climax.
Yeah, like I get. Yeah, I wasn't going to mention that since like Ponkotsu's not licensed, but yeah, Fukuchi did say on his Twitter that Ponkotsu's like nearing the climax, and I'll go into it a little bit more when we talk about what we're reading, but it does feel like something that could end. And I love my commentary that my friend said here is like for Amano is just like it needs 1 more chapter to fill another volume. So either would end in 2 or 3 chapters, and then the last volume will be as thick as Amano, or these are 10 or 11 chapters to finish. So,
he's right though.
Oh my god!
The most recent Sunday issue, Nekoguchi commented that it is in the final arc, to make sure that people understand this is just I'm not just throwing words out there or sophistries to make you think that, oh no, it's another year. No, it is definitely going to end soon. There's no way around that. So, but and so now we really need new series in Sunday. Hope that Ichihara, if you somehow listen to this, please. I know Jump is beating us, but you don't have to make it easy for them.
We'll get a 3rd series by Akasaka, and it'll be glorious.
I actually really want this because, So the last.
You mean Chad Guya? Anyway.
Oh my god.
Okay, and the last bit of news, which, yeah, it's Detective Conan. It's trying its best to take down Demon Slayer, but I think Tanjiro's just way ahead. But still, it's got 6,700,000,000 yen, and this was June 7th that they announced that it's box office. So it's probably still growing. But yeah, Conan movies have definitely hit a renaissance since, well, who was introduced, Amuro. So yeah, like Conan movies were doing okay before him, but even when he wasn't in them, then his introduction in the manga just saw like Conan movies suddenly just surge. It's kind of like the Strong World effect for One Piece.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, that's like I feel like people have asked me that question, and it's like, yeah, that's the thing you can kind of just a great analogy for that. It's just like One Piece was doing fine, and then Marineford and Strong World happened, and then it just became the juggernaut. It became even more of a juggernaut. Then Conan's was Amuro being introduced in the manga, and then like people just started saying, wait, Conan, that's still around? I guess I could give that a second. So
Real shit.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie here. I got back into Conan right around Amuro's introduction.
VLord, you're part of
I'm
the.
part of the problem.
I didn't say problem. But
you put it out there.
Completed the sentence.
I mean, I always find it interesting when series like that are established already can get a second win like this. And I mean, no matter what the reason is, whether you like Amuro or you don't, it's still amazing to see Conan just pick up the really just run with it. Speaking of which,
Amuro! Sure.
This is one Toru role that isn't gonna die in a crater. Yep. I sure did go there, and you can find. I'll tell you what my Twitter is at the end of it. I wasn't gonna really mention it, but why not? Like, also speaking of Amuro, the spin-off Zero's Tea Time will be resuming in Shonen Sunday issue 30, which will be out June 20th. Like, that's at first Zero's Tea Time was supposed to be the thing that ran when Conan didn't, but then somewhere along the line, it's just like we'd have like 3 or 4 issues with no Conan at all, and then like Zero's Tea Time would come back for 2 issues, and then come back, and then we would have like 5 issues with nothing, and then zero. So I on one hand, I mean, I'm not gonna say that I'm the biggest Zero's Tea Time fan. It doesn't matter to me either way, but on the other hand, it's like it makes me worry about Arai. Like, he's just unable to draw that much, and that's why like the Zero's Tea Time releases have slowed down so much, although it's basically Aoyama drawing them anyway.
Yeah, like he redraws like every panel almost.
So
that might be the issue, actually. Just the fact that, like, yeah, you have a designated artist, but you're not really. You're so into like the corrections that it completely messes up the workflow.
Yeah, it might be just kind of like a bottleneck there or something. Maybe he wants to. Maybe there could be more Zero's Tea Time.
Why can't you be like Toyotaro?
Oh, no!
Oh god.
No!
I mean, they really should just let Arai do his own
You were gonna say
thing.
that you just let Toyotaro take over. That's a different thing.
Yeah. I just think at this point, like, because from one review I read, it was a thing. It definitely was a thing that Aoyama signed off on, and I mean, obviously, yeah, they can't just start a spinoff without him. Although the other Conan spinoff, Hanzawa the Criminal, like Aoyama doesn't even read that, so
Which is funny because that's the better one.
I'm never gonna get over that too. It's like everybody agrees that that's the better spinoff. It's even selling better, but that's the one that Aoyama refuses to read.
Like, God, it's not even a contest. It's like way more entertaining.
I mean, that one too seems to have an irregular schedule. It kind of runs whenever the author feels like running it or whatever, and like, yeah. So, okay, so that's Conan spinoffs for you. I mean, Ichihara, the lead editor the Shonen Sunday part of Shogakukan, he was the one that came up with the idea of doing spin-off. So if you have anybody to blame or like celebrate, it'd be him. It wasn't Aoyama's idea. He just signed off, which I guess he could have vetoed it, but there you go. But that's it for Japanese news.
Okay, thank you. I think now is a good time to let's just talk about what Shoggy stuff we've been into recently. Yeah, why not? We do have a second half to this episode where we get another special guest. You love to see it. It's crazy, right? But I guess in order to whet our appetites, we're gonna indulge in some other Shoggy goodness. VLord, why don't you talk about what you've been reading recently or watching? I don't know.
For watching,
Gotta put the addendum there.
it's mostly watching, right? Let's just be
Yeah,
real.
considering one of the things that I've been doing lately. But I guess like to start off with reading, like I mentioned before, I did read Kirby Manga Mania, and it was just a ton of fun to read. And like it really surprised me because like I had read a few other Nintendo manga before, but nothing was ever like this. This was like easily the wildest Nintendo manga I've ever read. So yeah, I highly recommend Kirby Manga Mania. It's Kirby like you've never seen Kirby before.
Is he angry though? That's the one only Kirby Americans care about.
He can get angry.
Angry drunk?
Yeah, he gets angry drunk.
Okay. I will read this then.
Anger Poyo.
He also gets very buff.
Oh, yes, you did show us that.
Yeah. Yeah, God. It's so funny. But aside from that, I've mainly just been doing some Shoggy anime watching. The biggest of them being my continued watch through of Yawara.
The fashionable judo girl.
Yes, the fashionable judo girl.
You can't forget the subtitle. That's like the best part.
Exactly.
Indeed. But yeah, as I mentioned in the previous episode, Yawara is one of the older series from Naoki Urasawa before he got deep into the world of like thriller and horror. And despite it being very different from like say Monster, it is equally as good as Monster, if not better in some regards.
Those are some big words, man.
I mean, it won't be for everyone. I'm sure there are people that enjoy Monster that would have no value from Yawara. But for someone like me that kind of likes everything across the board, regardless of genre, like Yawara hit my itch for like a good comedy, slice of life, sports type series. Like, I know like Sakaki, you don't like sports manga and anime, but I'd say Yawara would still be far up your alley because even though there is that continuing judo element in judo tournaments and all that, it's much more focused on what the characters are thinking and feeling rather than what's actually going on in the matches.
I mean, I want to watch it. I do, because like even in Monster, you can kind of tell that Urasawa has this touch with characters in their everyday lives that is divine. Like I think I would even go as far as saying, you know, besides the thriller element of Monster, which is very good, like it is because we spend so much time with these characters in their everyday lives before they're, you know, caught in the web of Johan and Tenma that makes the series really stand out from just being a straight up, you know, thriller or horror series. So I can imagine that with a series where Urasawa is just straight up doing slice of life, that it would be really good. And I mean, I'm reading Asa too, and that's really as well. So like Urasawa is just very good at making very rounded characters and giving you enough information about them where they feel fully actualized, but not so much where it's like it bogs down the series. Like
yeah, totally.
That's what I like about him.
Yeah, like I think in Yawara specifically, the characters are what really makes everything work, and it's really the highlight of the entire series. And what especially stuck out to me is around, like, say, episode 40 or so, they introduce a character, Fujiko Ito, and she is like probably one of the best characters I've ever seen in anime, because she's very sympathetic. She's like a former ballerina that became too tall, so she was forced to like quit before becoming like a world-class level competitor. And she channels that passion into judo instead. And like unknowingly she becomes this like super powerhouse in judo. But she has like all these like confidence issues that kind of hold her back at times, which makes like all her matches super intense and emotional, because you feel really bad for her and you just want her to win every time. And it's such a great contrast to the actual character of Yawara, where Yawara is essentially the Saitama of the series.
The Marisu.
Oh my god.
I guess, yeah, because, like, you know, in every match with Yawara in it, she's gonna win. Because she's basically built up to be, like, unstoppable.
She's Goku.
Yeah, I was... I mean, yeah, that from what you've said about the series, that's what it sounds like. Like, if she had any interest in judo, she'd be unstoppable. Like, her only real weakness, quote unquote, is that she doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, like, in most sports series, the build-up to the tournament would be them training or learning new moves. But in Yawara, the build-up is literally them trying to convince Yawara to compete in the first place.
That's funny.
Yeah.
They always have to, like, figure out a new reason to get Yawara to compete, whether it's like, oh, hey, Fujiko's gonna compete. If you don't go too, Fujiko's gonna be sad and do badly. Or like, hey, maybe there's some, like, incentive for you to do this, like, for a job or something. And it's really funny in that way, because, like, there are, like, legitimately emotional moments in Yawara, but the fact that it can balance that also with that humor is really great. And there's so many, like, really, like, just intense moments, even with Yawara, because, like, there are times where, like, maybe Yawara is having an off day, and, like, it looks like she's just about to lose, or, like, she's gonna, like, somehow fail, but, like, in the end, she does win. But it's because it's executed in such a, like, minute way, and, like, it almost tricks you into thinking that she will lose, that, like, you still are glued to the screen.
Okay.
So, like, God, I just love Yawara so much. I'm, like, 100 episodes in at this point. I have 24 episodes left and then a movie. And I think, like, it'll easily go down as, like, one of my favorite anime. And I just hope that somehow the manga gets licensed. I need it. I just need it.
You hear that? You hear that pain in this voice? All you publishers, you could do something about this pain. Like, no, we're definitely gonna have to do an episode about it, because, like, you've really sold me on it. Like, the only reason why I'm not starting it, like, right away is because like, Jack and I are going to watch it. So once she's back, then we will definitely get on that.
Yeah, like, I forced my cousin and then my sibling Lum Ramayasha to watch it, and for one thing, my cousin isn't, like, super into anime at all, let alone, like, sports or comedy anime. So, like, I was surprised, like, that even he enjoyed it. Like,
Damn.
He got very hooked in, like, I was watching, like, the middle of a tournament arc, and by the end, he, like, was genuinely invested. And, like, Lum had watched, or I think maybe read a little bit of Yawara a long time back, but they had never gotten as far as I had in the anime, and they just fell in love with Fujiko's character, because Fujiko is the GOAT. She is the MVP of Yawara, and she will sell anyone on the series.
Nice. Yeah, definitely we're gonna have to do an episode. It would be great if we could manga license by then. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Or hey, get the anime license. I'm looking at you, Discotheque. Go pick up where Anime I Go left off.
Hey Viz, this series could be yours to sell for $12.99 a volume, an omnibus.
I mean, like, I feel like Yawara at this point would probably do pretty okay, because I think there are enough dedicated Urasawa fans that keep buying those releases of theirs that at this point, anything Urasawa that you whip out, they'll, I think, run for it.
Yeah, and I do think the sports manga climate is successful enough to warrant maybe a longer series like that.
Oh, totally. And it helps that it's not just a pure sports series either. I'd say it's a comedy and slice of life series first and sports second. So I think from that aspect, it, I think, has maybe a slightly more wider appeal than just your usual run-of-the-mill sports manga or anime.
Can't believe Urasawa read Touch and was like, yeah, I could do that.
I mean, from what you're telling me, that's what it sounds like. This is what Adachi would do with judo if he. Well, pretty sure Adachi has.
If he knew what something besides baseball was.
Oh
yeah.
my
I mean,
God.
he's done things other than baseball series, but yeah, baseball.
I don't believe you. You literally hallucinated that.
No, there's a whole stage play that's coming out in Japan.
Yeah, there's also Katsu, which is boxing.
He did.
It literally didn't happen.
He did a series about two bros, and one of them's a ghost.
You literally gaslit yourself.
There's also a swimming one too. I think it's called
VLord, you're also part of the problem.
Yeah, I mean, going into I guess Urasawa's influences too. He's mentioned before that Yawara started off as a parody of Iki Kajiwara's works, the creator of Tomorrow's Joe, and you can really see it because they kind of make fun of the whole rivalry element between Joe and Rikishi, with say Yawara and her initial rival Sayaka, and then later with her better rival Jody, who is a thick Canadian woman who's amazing.
Hello? Jody? Hanashimi no Jody? Yamashita, is that you?
Oh god.
No, not a song stuck in my grat. That's gonna be the rest of my EP.
I mean, Jody has the same seiyuu as Jody Starling in Conan.
Yes.
Wow, go off, Queen.
And Marge Simpson. I'm gonna keep saying this. This is gonna be the caveat every time I bring this up.
Yes, and Marge Simpson. But I've spent too much time talking about Yawara. So the last thing that's important that I checked out was the film adaptation of Children of the Sea, which was really good. It was showing in theaters via Fathom Events.
Oh, you literally saw that today.
Yeah, I saw that today. And boy, it is a beautiful film. I have not read the manga, so I was going in very blind, and there's just such a beauty to how they animate the marine life and the ocean and all just the movements of water. It's just it's a very beautiful movie. And it's done by Studio 4C, who I think people mainly know for the Berserk Golden Age movies.
They've done a lot though.
Yeah, they have. They've done Memories, Mind Game.
Didn't they do Tech on Kindred? I don't know if I'm saying this
I think
right.
they did.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, good. That's what I know them for.
Yeah, so they have a long pedigree, and I think this is probably the best film that I've ever seen from them. Just because of how fluid the animation is, and also the balance between the 2D animation and the CG. There's a lot of CG in this film, but because of how well it's blended and used in the scenes, you barely notice it in a way that is distracting. And at times, I actually mistook some of the CG for traditional animation at times, just because either there's a very good texture on it that kind of blends it in well, or it is just so heavily detailed that you wouldn't know the difference.
Wow. You heard it here first, folks. Studio 4C, the ufotable killer.
VLord, just real quick. What Shogakukan magazine did this run in?
Children of the Sea ran in Iki, I believe, monthly Iki.
Okay, cool. That magazine is defunct now. Go looking for it, but yeah, okay. I thought
believe
it was
Dora Hidoro also used to run
it was
there.
in the same magazine.
Oh, the one that everyone migrated to Hibana, and then
Then
the digital one.
Yeah, then Hibana kind of floundered out, God,
Hidora really had to jump around.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it is a very gruesome manga. It's no surprise that all the magazines it was also in had to die.
Well, I mean,
Hidoro just comes in. Q Hayashida is just like, damn, I guess gotta kill another one.
I mean,
Looks like this one was also a sorcerer.
I mean, it is mud and sludge. What else would you expect from it? So, yeah, like I mean, it ran in Icky for a while, so it wasn't like it didn't run. It ran there for a while, then went to the other magazine. Then it ended up in a shonen magazine of all things, Gessan. I mean, not for long, but yeah.
I mean, it finished in Gessan, right?
Yeah, it finished in Gessan.
Oh, the reverse steel ball run.
That's true. You're not wrong at all. Yeah, it went to Monthly Shonen Sunday, where it's funny that we're talking about this because anyway, I won't say too much. But Q Hayashida is doing another manga there. But what could that manga be?
I wonder if we're gonna talk about it at some point.
Yeah, that would be a great idea for us to kind of discuss that manga. But right now, let's focus on what we, focus on the present.
But yeah, anyways, Children of the Sea, highly recommended. I'm definitely going to be checking out the manga at some point. And you should go check it out yourselves. I believe it's on Netflix? Maybe?
We'll have to investigate this.
To Netflix.
Oh, it's going to do it now.
I had Netflix open, so it was easy. Yes, it is on Netflix.
Nice. Okay. So there you go. It's nice and easy.
Nice. All right. I guess I'll go because I haven't really spoken that much, but okay. my guilty confession. I have review copies of some stuff, but it's been a little hard for me to write just because I've written a lot like last month. I needed a little bit of break. Like a couple days ago, actually, I was on an errand. I had to take my mother to the Dominican embassy to like reissue her passport. And while we were waiting, I was hit by the urge to like reread Kakaishi, so I started that, and wow, it still holds up so well. Holy shit! Like, Yoshimura is like such a compelling protagonist. I really like the fact that we start early on in his childhood, and like we just see like, oh, he's not at all interested in like succeeding in the family the family role of like, oh, we're like these exorcists that like or sorcerers who like dispose of ayakashi, which are like spirits, and their whole thing is that there's two families, the Sumimuras and the Sumimura Tokino, I forgot her last name. It's two clans anyway, but they know the same technique taught by the same master, and basically they have to like protect this area of Karasumori, which is like basically like a breeding ground of like spiritual energy, I guess, that just swells up and can like heal and like power up all of these like little spirits and stuff. So yeah, like there's like an event that happens early on in Yoshimura's youth, and like basically his next door neighbor.
It's sorry, Marion. It's Yukimura.
Yukimura, yeah, I knew it was something more, but yeah, basically like his next door neighbor is this girl he has a crush on, Tokine Yukimura, and she basically like she ends up like taking like a really serious injury that like leaves a scar over like part of her arm and her hand, and he feels really guilty about it, and basically that's what motivates him to actually care more about his job, I guess, and position as like a successor to his family's technique and stuff. So it was cool, but like what really like sets him apart from other like shonen protagonists is just like it's something that you see now as more common in like shonen manga, but like he has like a lot of like empathy, I guess, when it comes to like actually defending others and making sure that it's not his fault that like anyone else is put in danger, and his like interests, like for like his hobbies and stuff, they're not like traditionally masculine in a sense, and like that makes for some nice gags, whatever, with like his grandpa, because his whole thing is that like, oh, I want to like cook sweets because I like sweets, and then like I'm gonna at some point like make like a castle of like freaking chocolate and sweets and stuff, and it's cute. There's even like a little story that goes on for like multiple chapters. It's kind of like early Yu Yu Hakusho manga, where you get like these side stories with like ghosts and like helping them pass on and stuff, making sure that um though they don't those lingering spirits don't actually uh like go to like that area around Karasumori where they can like basically turn into vengeful spirits and like devolve into like beasts and like demon like creatures and stuff that like they lose all their sanity or whatever. It was nice. There's one story with a patissier who basically uh he like he bonds a bit with Yoshimura, and Yoshimura ends up like saving him and like making sure that he doesn't actually go through that kind of stuff. We even see uh like another ghost who actually does have like a more unfortunate end or whatever. But I think the appeal of the series is definitely just like that heart that it has when it comes to like interacting with like the protagonist interacting with like the spirits and like the ghosts and whatever. Like there's literally so many fucking exorcist manga out there. But Kekaishi, what it does special is the characters. Like there's something there. And you see them grow over time. Like it's a 35 volume series, and that could sound like pretty overwhelming on paper, but uh gradually like the big picture plot like just it envelops very gradually but very consistently in a way that like if you're at all interested, I highly recommend to watch the 50 episode anime that I think Discotek rescued, and now it's on Crunchyroll and other streaming services. So they adapt up to like they fully adapt like the first major story arc or whatever. It's so good, dude. I can't wait to read more. And I also like I have a couple other series. I definitely want to read Yakuza Lover. I might retail the Outcast, and I'm definitely gonna read the Kirby one. And there's just so much shit for this month that I'm like, whew, I gotta like get into gear. Like there's so much stuff to talk about because I read the first two of How Do We Relationship. I'm caught up on Komi, except for the one that's coming out this week, or it came out. Oh shit, it came out last week, so I gotta read that one. And Maison Koku, and there's so much, man. I'm really excited with like the state of Shoggy manga right now.
Oh yeah, we're definitely in a way better place than we were like several years ago. Like it's amazing to think about. Also, just because I feel like Marion will like appreciate this. So the first of all, like Tokine's grandmother is voiced by Mayumi Tanaka or Luffy. And something I just remembered when you were talking about the patisserie ghost, you know, the old lady that's in that like those chapters? I forgot her name. She's voiced by Goku, Masako Nozawa.
I'm not surprised at all. Thank
So,
God, though. Like,
we got
some good shit.
we got Krillin and Goku. Krillin and Goku, like both old ladies though. So, which I love that. Like
We
that
love to
kinda
see
thing.
it.
I've been asked.
Definitely expect a Kekaishi episode of the future because like this is like it's like one of our favorites ever.
Yes.
And I didn't even get to talk about like the freaking like some of the side casts that they get introduced later on. Fucking I am obsessed with fucking Masamori, like the brother, and his mom too. She's a fucking MILF. Holy shit.
I mean, true.
I remember like being like super into Kakaishi when I was younger, but I remember like almost nothing about it now. So I am definitely up for a reread.
Yeah, I've been asked lots of times ever since I started running WSTB, like, hey, you know, what's the Sunday series you'd recommend, like, for somebody who's starting out reading Sunday? And Kekkaishi is always my first answer, even though like the Law of Ueki is the series that really. Well, no, I shouldn't say Ueki. I should say Fukuchi's really interested in Sunday. But if I were to say to anybody this, that's the essence of Sunday. Kakaishi is that series. It balances the kind of everyday life stuff with the action elements, has very like wonderful artwork. Yellow Tanabe is extremely talented. And like, yeah, the story is really solid. The characters are all unique in their own way, and it's just a series all the way around.
It's phenomenal.
I do wish, and of course, the anime is animated by Sunrise, so you got your good hands there. And the director did Detective Conan and the first part, Detective Conan and City Hunter, so like he's pretty good too. So you're in pretty good hands. Whether you just do, if you want to start with the anime and then head over to the manga, sure, that's a great way to do it. Or if you just want to read the manga the whole way through, I really wish with in this age of reboots and continuations, I think Kakaishi deserves a shot. Like Kakaishi and Flame of Record would be my top two.
Yes, holy shit.
Oh yes.
Those would be the two that if I were in charge, I have those have just a straight up reboot, honestly, for both of them.
Dude, what I would give to have the whole final arc of Rekka and fucking animated, that would be insane. Those fights were incredible.
Yes. I really would love to see all of Rekka animated, and I feel like it's about time. I mean, Anzai's doing a series in Super right now, so he's relevant. So it would be a good time to do it.
Yeah. Well, Sakaki, what have you been reading or checking out?
Well, I mean, as always, I've read the entire magazine. I mean, I won't drone on too much about it like I did last show. But the main things I would say right now that are interesting me, Weekly Shonen Sunday, are Call of the Night. Like, without spoiling, oh man, the current arc that it's on has been super good. And like Kotoyama, I always had to kind of see it in Dagashi Kashi that he could be a great storyteller. And he does it with Dagashi Kashi. I don't want to make it sound like it's a bad series. But it's always like, yeah, if this guy could do more of a... Because Dagashi Kashi is more of a comedy series than a character series, which are both great things. But if like he could use those talents for like another kind of narrative, he could nail it. And it's been really, really good. I cannot wait until we get to later volumes where I can like discuss this in full. But there have been lots of revelations of like new a character that we thought we knew. We finally get her backstory in the way that it's done. It's like the whole time you're not thinking this character is related to this other character until the very end of the backstory when it's like, wait, and then they just, Nazuna says hi to this character and we're just like, you knew her the whole time. So I can't wait till we can actually discuss that in full. I mean, if the series weren't licensed, I'd drop it. I just say it. But yeah, I want people to read it and experience what I did in live real time. Freerun's also been super good. Like, again, that's another one that's licensed, so I don't want to talk too much about it. But the current arc's been great. Like, getting to see Freerun's, like, teacher, the teacher of her teacher, like, and who was also an elf, and how they interacted, and how at first they both really didn't like each other, both brought together by her human. So basically, the elf, like, took in this human girl, and the human girl grew up and then taught Freerun, but obviously since like Freerun went to the other master and she's like, I don't really like you. Both connected by this one person and their love of magic. So that was a really nice, and the most recent chapter was kind of like explaining a little bit more about Freerun's background in that sense. Amano Megumi, like as we mentioned, it's on its final arc and it feels like it's been, I will say this about Megumi. As much as it is like a fan service laden series, Marion and I have talked about this often. I really feel like Nekoguchi does have a very good handle on like the romance aspects of it too. Yeah. Like, besides the fact that fan service doesn't feel dirty just because it's very innocent and like it doesn't treat like Megumi is. I mean, yeah, she's the object is fan service, but it's always in a way that's not like she's not embarrassed she's not really embarrassed by it, or it's not done in a way to like where she's
it's like how do I explain it? It's like an inversion of like the Lucky Sukebe, the lucky pervert trope, where it's just like, oh, Manabe just like freaking trips and falls, and now he's on Amino's tits or whatever. It's like no, it's like literally like Amino's the clumsy one, and like half the time she's not even like realizing. Which in like saying this out loud makes it kind of sound bad, but like the fact is that like Manabe goes out of his way to actually like make sure that she's not like embarrassing herself in public, and a lot of like the quote unquote titillation comes from him just like not fantasizing, but like having like these thoughts of like, oh my god, like if I can't believe I got to see this much of like her fucking thighs or whatever, stupid shit like that. It's like very horny teenager stuff, but it also feels very harmless because uh, at the end of
Yeah,
the day,
he's not really seeking it. Like
yeah,
he's actually trying to actively avoid it. It just sort of happens to him, and yeah, he reacts in a way like he never reacts like ooh. He's always like, oh god, like I'm trying
why
to
do you want?
study.
What are you doing, girl? You gotta like put on your belt or some shit. God damn
Yeah,
it.
exactly. It's never like I mean, yeah, he gets something out of it, and once in a while he does have those fantasies. Like, I mean, he's a boy, but like his focus is to get into the school, and like, so it's never a thing. But that's never. He's never, like I say, he's never out looking for the fan service. It just sort of happens to him, and his reaction to it is,
And
and
at the end of the day, like Amino, like Megumi, she's never put in a position where it's like uh she she she's like actively like embarrassed or put in a position where she's just like ashamed, and like that kind of like a lot of fucking ecchi manga is like whenever the girls are put in those kind of situations, it's done in a way where it's almost demeaning, and like they feel like their dignity is compromised in some way, and like that's not at all the way that it's executed in this. And
yeah.
I think that's the most important part, where
It
it's like
sounds like there's some depth to the thickness.
yes,
High density thickness. I mean,
real
but
shit.
no, I mean, and even besides that, even when the romantic elements are introduced, one of the girls that's kind of interested in Makun is like Yukino, and I like her character a lot, and it actually makes me really sad. She's basically
She's
destined to
doomed to
fail.
fail.
Yeah, she's destined to fail, but she's a Gyaru, but she's like really serious about her studies, which I've never seen that before. And let me not say that I'm some expert, but like, yeah, she's like, I mean, she
Garus
likes
don't
looking fashion.
typically aim for Tokyo University.
I mean, Marion's like, we're saying it like we're joking, but no, it's serious. Like, she likes looking fashionable, she likes looking good, but she's also very serious about getting into school and making something of herself. And so she and Ma couldn't connect on that level. But I mean, the most recent chapter that I remember, like, she's more kind of, and this seems to be a thing with Sunday lately, is like she's more kind of like, okay, go after the girl you like. You know, I can tell that you're into her. So, and that's a good kind of like segue into like Comey, which in the most recent chapters, I will spoil this because I mean it's like
Me.
fucking huh? What did you say?
Chad me. Oh my god.
She literally
I mean-
didn't have to do. She didn't have to do shit. Tadano went to her. That's right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Chad me.
What? Yeah,
Chad
I mean,
me and Chadano, match made in heaven.
yeah, exactly. No, I mean, like, yeah, this isn't even as new from the beginning. It's just a matter of when and not if. But yeah, in the most recent chapters, like Tadano, and I like how he did it too. It wasn't the thing where he, like shyly like no, like after Rumiko confessed to him, you know, he at first took, you know, he was like, yes, sure, I'll date you. I know I'm making it sound really dismissive, but like no, he was serious about it. And then she was like, no, you're into her. Go to her. And, you know, he goes and confesses to her, and now they're an official couple. Like, it's still treated really kind of cutely in the manga. Like, it's not this thing that's like,
Oh yes,
we're...
the 6-page blushing sequence. I love it.
Yes, that was so good. Like, I read spoilers about it on the Japanese blog at first, and I was like, no way that, like, Oda, not that one, is going to spend 5 pages. No, he did. 5 pages of her him asking her out, and 5 pages of her just blushing before she says yes. This is what we read Comey for. I mean, the most recent chapter was just funny. It was a short one. It was just kind of like the whole, because this took place over Valentine's Day, so like Tadano comes home with a bunch of chocolates, and his sister's like, he told me he's trying to figure out who gave him what, and like he's still just kind of shell shocked, like I have a girlfriend. Like he's not paying attention to the questions she's asking. So, and I'm really sorry I don't remember everybody's name, but like, you know, the biggest chocolates that came from Comey, like the way he describes it, it sounds like it came from like the big dude, the macho dude. So like,
Ty?
yeah. So like he told me he's got like this whole like imagery in her mind where like her Tadano, her brother and Katai are like frolicking the fields, and she's like, oh my god, I need a minute. So and that was funny. It was like an 8-page chapter, but it did what it needed to do, and that's one thing I like about Sunday is you get that like authors aren't made to come up with like 19 pages of material. If I only have 8 pages worth, then that's all they need, and that's what a magazine.
Yeah,
Like
it's great, dude. I
yeah,
honestly like. I feel like in my heart of hearts, what I really wanted was just like I don't even know how to describe it. Like just like not an open relationship, but like a whole just a 3-way couple between Rumiko, Tadano, and Komi, because
yeah,
they all deserve each other. To be
they
honest, like
do, because they're all super supportive and everything. Like even when Comey found out that Rumiko likes Tadano too, you
she
know, it
was just
wasn't.
like, "Yeah, do your best. I'm gonna support you
Yeah,
too."
yeah,
Like shit.
exactly. And I mean, like, there was nobody. I really feel bad for her. Like, and that just shows you how well the characters are crafted in Comey. Like, there wasn't anybody that was like rooting for her. I was just like, can't you all just be friends and just be friends forever? Just end the series as a friendship. But no, I mean, like, and I love that even after like Rumiko sends Tadano after Comey, like she's just like, you know, the rest of the class really comes around and supports her
Yeah,
and
to comfort
everything.
her. Oh my god.
That was so good, and I really love that they did that. Like,
Oh
yeah,
man, all the other
Comey's,
girls crying like, I understand your pain. Shit.
yeah, it was so good. Like, I really have to thank the blog, and of course, talking to you to Marion and other Comey fans really getting me into the series. So I'll admit I was skipping over it for a while, but now I'm
Yeah,
really
don't
glad
worry.
I'm really
Now you,
glad I'm invested into it. What?
now you can look forward to whatever Olm animates it. It's like that 5-page blushing scene that's gonna be animated all in once, and it's gonna be glorious.
I can't wait.
It sounds like I really need to catch up with Comey.
Yeah, I mean, I really would recommend it. I mean, and oh, before I get too far off, one other confession was also in Ponkotsu-chan, where like again, it was a girl likes the guy, and she's also friends with the heroine of the series who also likes the main character. And I mean, in this case, in Ponkotsu, she knew she was going to get shot down, but she was just like, I have to just get this off my chest.
Yeah.
And you know, and she did, and it was really, and she's like, I feel fresh. It wasn't a thing where she's angry, because like the guy was just kind of like, I'm sorry, but I don't feel that way about you. And from the beginning of
I
the
wish
manga,
I was a manga character. I'd be there to comfort all those fucking rejected people. Like, god damn it. Why are all the people I love fucking the
and
people who
it
don't
hurt, right? Because like in Funkotsu Rin, she's the girl. Like I really like her character, because basically her thing is that like she's like deep tsundere,
Oh
but she doesn't
no.
want to be. Like
Oh
she wants to make
no.
friends with everybody, but like let's
It's just
say they're,
ingrained in her.
yeah, it's just in great, like there was, her introduction was like
That's sad.
one of her friends was like, her uniform was like, I guess messed up in some way, and like inside in her like mind she was like, just tell her, oh, just adjust this, it looks wrong. She was like, no, how could you come to school looking that way, and like, just fix yourself. And then she like turns the corner, she's in tears, like, why am I like this?
Oh my god. That shit
So
makes me cry, dude. That shit sucks.
so she's like my favorite, and like I knew that again she was destined for failure, because like she likes Mito, and at first she like her heroine was the main character Yumisaki in Kotsu, and like she was the first person, like when she did her tsundere thing, Yumisaki was like, oops, oh, you're right, because she's kind of the airheaded character, so she didn't take it seriously. She was like, oh, you're right, you know, I should fix this, thank you, nobody's ever given me this kind of advice before. So like they became friends, but then they realized they both like the same guy, and yeah, then this week's chapter she was just like, I have to get my chest, and Mito, the guy, was just like, I'm sorry, I can't return your feelings. She was like, no, this makes me feel so much better to just that you know how I feel about you. So yeah, that was kind of the thing for Sunday, like lately. It's just confessions, how people get
These are
rejected
my
from them.
confessions. VLord, make this the transition music at the end of the
Oh my god.
I mean, VLord, you should be happy. Well, one more thing before I move on, but Sobote is definitely towards ending, and I love that.
Oh, it's definitely getting destroyed, huh?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, there's no other choice. Like, they got a army of tanks and shit, just and
Hello?
yeah, they got tanks and it's just for me to try to describe what's going on right here. That could be a podcast by itself. So I'm just gonna say they have a bunch of tanks just fighting aliens, and while fucking Takoha and Sakamaki are inside the house having an art off. They're trying to draw each other, and the person who draws the better picture is the winner. But they
Wow.
both have what the fuck is that? A writer, not writer's block, but an artist block. So they're both just instead the most recent chapter is both of them just kind of shitting on each other's art for 4 pages, and then they both go back to their easels, and they're just both irritated. Chapter ends while outside aliens are fighting against the Japanese defense army, and they're firing tanks at the house, tanks shellings at the house and everything, and it's Fujita.
Yeah, I've been looking at the new Sobote chapters too, and it is everything I would want out of a Fujita final battle. It's beautiful.
This is insane. This is the most insane installment of WarioWare that I've ever heard.
Marion, you have to read Sobote. It's mind blowing. It's life changing.
No, it's I at this point I would even go as far as saying it might be the best Fujita thing, because it takes everything that he's good at and just concentrates it into one series. Oh man, because going back to read Gecko Joyrei, I mean, I bought Ushio and Tora. I mean, Karakuri Circus is still pretty up there for me, but Sobote just has everything. It's all of those series, all the best parts of those just distilled into one.
Yeah, it helps that it has such a strong start that it could literally do anything after that and still be amazing.
Yeah, it's funny because it's up until now Fujita. I guess you could say he's done horror series, but Sobote's the first series that it's been sold as a horror action. And he leans into that so hard. I didn't even think about it until I read some of his stuff. I just thought, oh, his art's always like this, right? And then reading his other series, no, he actually the horror aspect.
Yeah, the art style he uses for Sobote, I feel is a thing that he would really only do for very intense scenes in other Fujita series.
Yeah.
But Sobote, it's that just imagery and that dark tone all the time.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, I completely agree. That's what because I went into Gecko expecting art like Sobote, but no, as VLord said, it's only specific scenes in Gecko Chore that have the Sobote touch. So I mean, his storytelling is always the same. I don't mean that in a bad way, but his storytelling is always very consistent. You know what you're gonna get when you go into Fujito for the most part. So that's always a good thing. There's a reason why he's been kind of a mainstay in Sunday for so long. But definitely Sobote, the artwork wise, steps it up a whole new level. And of course I just love that I love it with the main character is just a normie. Because Takoha, he really has nothing. I mean, no, he's just a painter. That's literally all he does. And he does the no jutsu, and that's it. That's all he has. Yet he's the most powerful person in the entire series. Because all of these espers and people with superpowers, I mean, to not go too deep into what Sobote is, the house basically, you go into the house, it takes your memories and then eats you, and then puts you in a painting and everything, and you're tortured by your memory. And Takoha's the only guy that was he came out from that okay, because he was I mean, at first it got him too, but he was no, you know, I forget if his dad died or if it's just that he's just not afraid of him anymore. Either way, like his whole thing was like his dad was like a really awful person. But then he was just like, "Yo, my dad's dead," or "I'm not worried about my dad anymore." That's it. And he just gets out the painting, and then he just reminds everybody. He just like gives everybody like a bitch smack, like, "This isn't what you're here for. Like, get your shit together." And like, and I love that in the series itself, it's treated. It's not like he's treated as this guy that's just like he saves our lives by talking to us, really talking us through our traumas. Like he's a therapist and a painter at the same time, and it's really I just love that. That's his character.
How does this make you feel? And it shows you a picture of like you like choking out your dad or something.
Oh my god.
I mean, like, and that's not even too far from like the main villain. Although I hesitate to really call him a villain, and that's another thing that makes so great is that Sakamaki, like, he can go from being the villain like for certain chapters, and then it turns around he's not really, but then he is actually the not. Like, and there was actually a scene where he like, well, no, I don't go too deep into that, but it actually, yeah, like Marion, you actually sort of described the plot point, just not with like any of the main characters. It's something that happened with Sakamaki. But yes, read Sobote. Like, we try to advertise like legally available things here, but I might have to say Sobote might be that exception until it gets licensed. Please license it, somebody.
Somebody parentheses Viz.
Or yeah, literally anyone that wants that Fujita goodness, go license it
Seven
for
I know
us.
you're listening.
Please, Seven Seas, we love you, and we'll love you even more if you license Sobote. Damn it!
Yeah, I want to. I mean, we're gonna do an episode about Sobote, like probably since it's close to its end anyway. We probably would just wait for it to finish and then we'll talk about it. But yeah, we're gonna definitely do an episode of Sobote, and then yeah, I'm so looking forward to just gushing about the series for 3 hours. Not that long because I don't want to edit all that, but yeah. But that's it. That's what I've been reading.
Nice. I hope our lovely listeners got a good chunk of what they could expect from what's available up there Shoggy wise. Both anime, manga, international and domestic formats. So yeah, that was a nice rundown. For now though, I guess now is a good time to transition into our second half, where we're actually going to be semi-interviewing, having a discussion about Dai Dark with Phil Christie, who is the letterer of Dai Dark. Yeah, look forward to that. Hello and welcome back to Saturday Night Shoggy. I am not as loud because I'm recording in a room and someone is asleep.
Oh no!
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Le gasp.
For the second half of this month's episode, we have Phil Christie, who is the letterer of Dai Dark, Volume 1. Say hello, Phil.
Hello. Yep. Yeah. I'm Phil Christie. I don't know if you want me to do an intro or not. But
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Phil Christie. I'm a letterer for Dai Dark. I work for Seven Seas, Yen Press, Kodansha, and Square Enix.
Nice.
Wow.
That's about it.
Cool.
Oh, that's impressive.
Yeah, well, basically to like break the ice a bit, I guess. We have a couple questions just to like, get to know you a little better. Have our listeners get more familiar with who you are and how you got into this whole gig. So, how did you get into manga in general?
You mean as a fan?
Yeah, as a fan.
Or it's a long time ago. I think the first thing I ever read was GTO.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
Okay.
For some reason, it was in the local library, and I didn't know anything about manga. I knew more about anime because my sister used to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
But where I grew up in like a small town in the UK, so like manga is like super hard to get hold of at that time. So yeah, I just remember trying to get volumes of trying to get hold of as much as I could, but it was, it wasn't that simple. So I think I just started with GTO from the library, Get Backers, and Battle Royale was a big one.
Holy crap!
I don't know if you guys have you guys read that manga?
Yeah, you're cultured. Wow.
Yeah, I've not read that one, but wow, yeah, you got all the
it's
Kodansha going on.
it's pretty. It's pretty. I don't really like the art, if I'm honest, but I was a fan of the movie.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
okay, yeah.
Yeah, the
As like
movie.
as like an earlier one, I feel like that's probably pretty exciting. Uh, when you're like that
yeah.
age, like, oh yeah, this is edgy.
Right. Well, that's the thing, like at that time there was nothing like that, right? It's kind of like you
Hmm.
had Spider-Man, Batman, kind of, but it's kind of like PG-13, And then
Yeah.
I don't know. There used to. I mean, it's still going, but there was a VHS, well, VHS at the time, a company called Manga that did anime,
Oh
ironically.
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I'm familiar with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Manga
right.
Entertainment.
yeah.
And yeah, I grew up watching a lot of that stuff, which I probably shouldn't have. Um, so I can't remember where I was going with that. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, basically, I started out watching anime because my sister watched it through Manga VHS tapes, and then I found out Manga also existed. So then I started trying to find that, but it wasn't very easy. So to be honest, I probably know more about anime than I do manga.
Okay. Well,
But
I
yeah.
guess going past that, then, how did you get into the industry?
Well, the industry I joined about 7 years ago, and I came to Japan on a working holiday visa, and I'd kind of already dabbled in graphic design, so I was already doing freelance projects, and I didn't really need the money, but I'm kind of shy, so in a weird way, I wanted to have a work experience in Japan, but I didn't really want to become a salaryman or an English
Ooh.
teacher. So I just started looking on the Tokyo Craigslist, and I found one for Manga Box, the company that did.
Okay.
I don't think they exist anymore, but they used to do free English, like legitimate, like English translations of manga. I guess it was Kodansha, but I can't
Okay.
remember, to be honest. But yeah, at the time I didn't actually know it was for manga. I just thought it was like a Photoshop job. And I was like, yeah, I can use Photoshop. So I applied and they gave me the job. And then I started working on that stuff. And then, as luck would have it, my roommate's friend, who he hadn't seen for 3 years, came to town and said they knew another company that might be looking for a letterer. And they sponsored my visa. And then, it just went from there.
Oh, nice. So it
So,
just
luck.
that kind of came organically just from like looking for work then.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. It
Nice.
was I want to join the manga industry, so I'm going to apply to this. It was more like, just an ad. Do you know how to use Photoshop? And I was like, yeah.
Nice.
And then it just, and then the friend who kind of hooked me up with a Japanese company, it was actually, I don't know if you'll know it. It's called Papylus. It's
Not
kind of like
familiar.
Okay, no, I've not heard of
they
that.
do a lot of ebooks. It's like a big Japanese company that do ebooks.
Oh
But they
wait.
were looking for somebody. I think they do Renta, if you know.
Renta, I
Oh,
know
yeah,
about.
Renta.
Yes,
Well,
Renta, I
I
do
think they
know.
own Renta or something like that. So yeah, and I don't know. It's just luck, I guess. So
That's cool.
fate, I don't know. Just one of those
Destiny.
things, right?
Nice.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
must be.
So I guess narrowing down the scope a little more, are you familiar at all with Q Hayashida's work besides Dai Dark? Like
I
Dorohedoro?
know she hasn't really done much though, has she? She's only done
Yeah, but
Dorohedoro, and there's
yeah.
another one, but I can't remember the name.
God, yeah, I think it was Aiden or somebody on Twitter that actually brought up the other series she did for like a video
It's only
game, but
it's like 2 books or something.
yeah, something like that. It was I forgot the name of the game, but yeah, it was like a manga based on that.
Yeah.
God, I don't remember what it was
Yes.
called.
So I know, yeah, I do know her work.
Okay, cool. Have you read it? Have you read Dorohedoro?
I have not read all of it. I've got about halfway through. It kind of came out at a time when I wasn't, life was going on, and I had a lot of. I kind of fell out of the loop because I moved from the UK about 10 years ago, and I had a lot of stuff going on that I had to I didn't have a job, I didn't have any money, I didn't, that's why I applied on Craigslist because I was kind of just like looking for myself. So I kind of fell out of the loop of manga from about 10 years ago. And I think Dorohedoro was one of those ones that it kind of came out around that time, right?
Yeah.
Is it 2011, 2014, something like that?
It'd been going on, I think, for a couple, I think it started in the early thousands or maybe before that.
Yeah, 2000 exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I thought it was.
It was it's
Okay.
monthly, and it
later than that.
hopped between a couple magazines and stuff. So
Yeah.
Are we talking about the Japanese or the English?
the Japanese, the English
Japanese.
release, I think
Okay.
did come out around that time actually.
Okay, because I've only actually read the English one. I haven't read the Japanese
Okay, cool.
Okay.
version of that yet. But actually, I think the Japanese. I do want to read the Japanese though, because I think a lot is lost in translation with the character names and stuff.
Mm. Oh, cool.
But yeah,
Um.
she's amazing. I think.
Yeah. So how did you actually get assigned to Dai Dark, if you can tell us?
That again, luck. I did another podcast with Aiden actually, who's another letterer, and so I think I mentioned somebody asked me what I was reading or what I'm excited about. I said Dai Dark, and I thought I didn't know anybody had licensed it yet. I didn't know Seven Seas licensed it yet, so I mentioned it, and someone called Kimberly Pham. said,
Oh, I know her.
Seven Seas
Oh yeah, Kim's
Right?
awesome.
Yes. Yeah, she's awesome.
Well, she was like, "Oh, Seven Seas just announced it, or announced it last month, or something like that." And I was like, "Oh, damn!" I was like I rarely talk to editors about what kind of work I want to do because
Yeah.
the way I look at it is, I'm just trying to make their life easy. Like it's nice if you get a project that you can work on, that you would
Work is
really
still work.
enjoy. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you're a tool. You're trying to make you're trying to make the editor's life easier. That's how I've always looked at it. But this time I thought, I really want to do Dai Dark. I just, I'd already had the Japanese book. I'd already read it. So I just emailed Seven Seas once, Kimberly said, "Oh, it's been licensed," and I thought, "There's no way I'm going to get this." But don't ask, don't get.
Ooh.
So I emailed Seven Seas and I said, in all honesty, I was like, "I'll do it for free. If you I really want to do this." And then they were just like, "Yeah, sure, we'll put you down." And obviously they paid, but yeah. But again, I think it was luck because it had been announced a month earlier, and usually things like that get snapped up pretty fast. Letterers will email and say, "I want to do this," and so yeah, just luck. I think just cool people at Seven Seas. Apparently, they trust me. So.
Well, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Exactly. It takes a long time to learn, but
Yeah.
getting there.
No, that's really interesting to me because not to toot my own horn here or whatever, but a lot of people have always told me, "Hey, you should go into translating officially." And part of my reason is I have entirely no self-confidence in those, but that's part of the reason why I don't. And the other reason has always been I don't want to work on a series that I'm not interested in right now. If I feel I don't really do that too much anymore, but if I were to, I just always get afraid they'll be toss some series and I'm I have zero interest in this, and then it becomes a job.
Yeah.
I feel like Sakaki, if Stephen Paul can do Sword Art Online, I feel like you can do anything.
Okay, fair.
Oh, nice. not to this on SAO. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it is what it is, I as a letterer, I really like working on it. I think it's got some of the coolest sound effects in manga. I
haven't checked out the manga version, so maybe I will.
Yeah, the story is, a lot of people don't like it. I think it's a bit cheesy, but I think it's yen, so it's not really you can't really do much with the sound effects, if I'm honest. But it's cool to look at. I think it's, I like it.
Okay.
So, but yeah, you should have confidence. Just nobody has confidence. That's the thing. Nobody starts out with confidence.
It's true. It's true.
And it's just business. You shouldn't take it personal. Like, God, I never read any of the books that I've lettered because I just once
That's so funny.
once it leaves, it's like it's not in your hands anymore. It's like the editors can do whatever they want with it, and they will. And a lot of the stuff you're not going to agree with. You're going to say, "Why'd they change that? Why? I don't understand this." But it is what it is. You just gotta. It's like they're not. Everyone's trying to do their best, so I think you should have confidence and just go for it. Why not?
I mean, it's true. I mean, many people have said
say
this.
no.
I mean, that's true. Like, it's funny you say that because, like, when it comes to like translations that I do or even podcasts I'm on, I don't listen to them or read them afterward because I don't.
Just do the same thing.
Right?
I didn't expect this episode to be like Phil, like, he'll pat me on the back and be like, "It's okay, buddy, you can do this."
No, but honestly, like I see it a lot. Like, and it's something I never had confidence. But luckily I have. Luckily, one of my sisters was just like, if you don't try, you'll never know. And if nothing happens, then nothing happens. Like, big deal.
Yeah,
And
we literally learned that 5 minutes ago with the email story.
Right? Again, it was like you've got to just put yourself out there, and you kind of, it's that balance, right? You think like they're gonna think, oh, I'm being too pushy, or I'm being too selective, or maybe I'm not good enough, and who am I to say that I could, do this? Maybe there's a better translator or a better letterer, but a lot of the times it's just, you've just got to try.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all it is. Like, I mean, look at this is a particularly thing with like a company like Viz, where it's like I think the majority of people that work at Viz are like got hooked up somehow. Like, they're all friends.
Yeah.
Like, anybody that does a job at Viz is like part of that like little group, right? So it's like, but if you didn't have confidence, you might not reach out to an editor and say, "Hey, I really want to work with you." But then you're like kind of shooting yourself in the foot. So
yeah, you can't let that discourage you just because like, oh, there's already like an established group or something that like
No, not at all.
If you have the qualifications, why not?
Yeah, I mean, there's abundance in the industry. I think it's only getting bigger. So
that's very true. That is very true. Like, more and more stuff is getting picked up, and so it's definitely worth the thing. But I guess to get us back on track a little bit, even though I do appreciate this pep talk. No, it's great. I do appreciate it, actually. But so you're working, obviously, since you really wanted to work on Dai Dark, you must have some impressions on the story. What do you think of it so far, as far as Volume 1 is concerned?
Volume 1. Can't remember where it ended. So Shimada Death is in it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
How does it end? I can't remember how it ends. Do you guys remember?
I have the book here on Bookwalk.
I am looking at it also right now.
Because I get confused because Volume 3 is out here.
It's funny because we were discussing that. We were discussing it off mic that you're probably on like Volume 3.
Yeah, I think Volume 4 comes out in maybe December.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, so it ended with them getting like that dark ship that's shaped like a dog. And then they like call up Shimada Death.
Technically, it ended on the crossword puzzle, but I'm gonna let that slip.
All right.
Don't worry.
Yeah, I'm surprised they included that. Yeah, I love the story. I like it a lot. I haven't read all of Dorohedoro, so I don't really know how it ends.
It's good.
Okay, well, I mean, I've got all the books. I just haven't got around to reading them. But yeah, no, I think Dai Dark's way better, actually. Like, as far as comedy, and she's a better artist now. Her style's similar, but it's definitely improved.
Yeah, I definitely agree, because I've only read like the first 6 or 7 volumes of Dorohedoro, so going from that to this was a bit of a whiplash, because like you can see all the years of improvement in Hayashida's artwork.
Yeah. It's like the same but completely different.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of the character designs just because they do have that have like masks and stuff, and kind of influences how their whole aesthetic is. But even though there's like something similar going on here, everyone still is really distinct.
Yeah, yeah. I think Volume 2 is even better, actually.
Good.
You get to. I'm curious to see where it's gonna go because I don't really even like. I mean, I guess the story is all about like who, like if he dies, who's gonna grant the wishes and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying not to say too much because I can't remember where Volume 2 starts either. But yeah, I'm super curious where it goes, and I agree. I agree with the characters are the best, and that's always one thing I feel bad for people that don't read the Japanese version, because I don't think it's ever explained like where their names come from.
Not at all.
Have you ever? That's something I've always thought was really cool, and I've never noticed it with like a lot of manga. I think volume 2 does explain some of the names.
Yeah, like volume 1 I think explained a few in like the like footnotes, but I think it was only like one or two of them.
But yeah, stuff like that's always been interesting to me. And the way that's one of the things that's cool about Q Hayashida is one, her characters always wear like buckets on their heads or like, you know, weird masks. Her sound effects are always bizarre that don't make any sense in Japanese, kind of like Fist of the North Star. They're just random words. But also her names are hilarious. Like, I don't know, Doro Hedoro. There's like Yaku, Baku, Shin.
Yeah.
Like they've all got like weird names, but it's like their name pertains to what kind of character they are. Or like N means smoke, things like that.
Turkey has a turkey.
Yeah.
Turkey, yes.
Right.
Turkey.
Yeah, like at the end of volume 1 of Dai Dark, there's like that one name like Hajime Damemaru, which is like first failure son.
Right.
Yeah.
So he comes in volume 1, does he?
Yeah, like they show like his face at the end of it.
Okay. But yeah, I don't really know where the story's going, to be honest. She's a bit random. So it's like, but I'm definitely curious. It's something that I buy. It's like the day it comes out. Just run down to Kinokuni and pick it up.
Do you have a favorite character? And why is it Shimada Death?
Oh, it's gotta be Shimada Death. Has to be. Her like pokes people and they just explode.
God, that was so funny.
Yes.
Poke. But yeah, I think it's gotta be. Or maybe the I can't remember the name, the dog. The, like,
Moja.
Moja. Yeah.
A dead soul, but it's cute, we swear.
Yeah,
that's what the note says.
Like that one. But yeah, Shimada Death. Definitely.
Do you have any expectations for the story? That's a very big question.
And what do you in by expectation? What do you mean?
Like
where I think it's gonna go?
Yeah, or is there something that you want to see addressed or come out from the story?
Not really, because it's kind of new. It's still kind of fresh. So, and there's some characters that appear in the end of number 2 that I'm kind of curious how that's gonna work. Mm-hmm. And he needs a new. Oh, I can't remember. My memory's terrible. What's the thing he wears?
The
what do they call that? No, it's actually his like cloak that he wears.
Oh,
it's not I can't remember what they call it.
The cloak.
His like clothes. His clothes are all messed up, so he needs new clothes. So I'm kind of curious to see what happens there.
Okay.
But really, the one thing I want to know is like, and I've seen it like kind of speculated, like whether or not it's connected to Dorohedoro in any way.
Like the same universe or something.
Right, because they still wear masks and things. So I'd be curious to see if she puts any like hints in there to say that they're kind of connected. So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I accept that answer. That's something that I also was thinking about.
Yeah. Why? Do you guys have any expectation?
I want more of the Paggy, the skull thing. I think his body looks so cool. Like very. I don't know how to describe it. I play mobile game Fire Emblem Heroes, and there's like the beautiful realm of death. They have like they look like jelly buddies with like you can see their skeletons and stuff, and it reminds me of that.
Yeah.
I like that design choice.
Honestly, I just like skeletons, so I'm always down for more Dark Peggy.
Yeah, well, there's loads in number 2.
Okay. I
Very
mean,
action-packed.
me personally, I'm just like I too was kind of wondering about it, if this is connected to Dorohedoro at all. I mean, on one hand, I kind of would want it to be a little bit, but on the other hand, I kind of want it to be its own thing too.
Yeah, I understand that. It'd be cool if she like inserts a little thing here and there though to kind of hint at it. It doesn't have to actually be connected, but
Yeah, and I mean, one other thing that just I found kind of interesting was the whole school days chapter. Like,
yeah,
that was so weird. Like, it's not even, I can't even say it was really off-putting because it's still very much Dai Dark. It's not like it went in a completely different direction, but it was just, I was not expecting that.
I love how he called himself Meatball Spaghetti.
Yeah, Meep Switch. I saw a recipe for that online actually. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what to expect. I don't really know what to expect with Hayashida Q's work, to be honest, because it's like, I don't know.
It's
like she's just random. I can't think of like any other word for it. She's just like random. It's like super violent, people's heads exploding, being chopped up into pieces, and then she's at the same time kind of obsessed with this like ramen and gyoza, kind of like turning people into weird monsters and stuff. So it's like the I guess paradox. I don't really know if you can expect anything from her, to be honest. I'd love to know what kind of person she is.
very true. Maybe. Well, damn. Actually, I don't know. I don't think anyone else here got was it like Mud and Sludge, the art book that she had? I wonder if there's I wonder if there's any interviews in there.
Yeah, I actually was wanting to buy
yeah.
that recently.
Oh,
Yeah, I've got it. She's got, and there's another one as well. There's another. It's like a super rare, like magazine. You can't. It's like expensive now. With interviews, all about Dorohedoro. But yeah, no, there are interviews. Like I know that she's like, it was based on penguins of Madagascar for the three. I think the three-headed character.
Three-headed, yeah.
And I know she like went to, traditional art school and things like that, but it'd be cool. Like the problem with manga artists is they very rarely do like video interview or audio podcasts or anything like that. So it's kind of like you can read what kind of person they are. And she seems like a pretty out there, like funny, kind of doesn't take things too serious type of person. But I'd love to see it. I think you can like understand a lot just by seeing what kind of person they are. Or what kind of studio they have.
Yeah, and I know
seems like...
she also has like a lot of influences from like Western, like pop culture. Like I know she's a big fan of like Twin Peaks. That definitely shows in some of the sequences in Dorohedoro.
Yeah, or in like Dai Dark, I think one of his, I don't know if it's his pajamas, but he's got like a face hugger on his t-shirt.
Yeah,
and things like that. So yeah, you can see the reference. But I mean, it makes sense because her style's not really like a typical manga style. If anything, it's like old school, kind of seems more like 90s or 80s manga style.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd love to see an interview with her. She seems cool.
Yeah, I agree. I guess like going back a little bit to like lettering stuff. Is there a work that you're like the most proud of?
Probably Dai Dark, to be honest.
Ooh. I do love the SFX work on this.
Thank you. Yeah, or Sue and Tai-chan, I did that. That was kind of cool. Just Fairy Tail, the new one.
Oh, cool.
I know it's kind of like Shonen Jump-esque. It's kind of.
Oh, you mean Eden Zero?
No, he's actually doing 100 Years Quest.
Oh, 100 Years Quest, yes.
So it's actually
spin-offs. Yes.
Yeah, it's a spin-off. He just does the story. But
yes, okay.
But yeah, that's kind of cool because it's kind of when I started doing hand lettering as opposed to all fonts and things like that. So, or I made the fonts myself, and had the chance to kind of be more creative,
Oh,
I
cool.
guess. So I'm more proud of that stuff. But Dai Dark definitely, because I just you're not really supposed to clean all the sound effects in a Seven Seas book, and I just kind of went ahead and did it anyway because I thought, one, I really wanted to work on the book, and two, I couldn't see how you could be. I kind of had confidence that I could do it good enough, and I didn't think the editors or anybody would be angry at me for doing it. So I just kind of was like, you know what, I'm gonna just erase everything, and if they don't like it, then I'll change it. But if they do like it, then I think it's something that the fans could enjoy, you know. And I don't know, like, what do you guys think about sound effects? Like, do you think they should be left as the original Japanese? Or do you like the kind of Viz style where they get
back
fully
and forth.
replaced?
I feel like okay, so I feel like there's merit to both.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of depends, I think.
Okay.
I'm okay, so the Akira release where they did like the smaller like English version under the Japanese lettering, I thought that was
Mm-hmm.
fine. Um
Mm-hmm.
I'm usually okay with just cleaning and redrawing the whole SFX. But I going back to like VLord, he put up a review recently about the Fist of the North Star release,
Oh
and
god.
yeah,
VLord
I saw
awoken
it.
us to all kinds of things, really, because like he's been looking at like how some manga are lettered and everything like that, and comparing them between releases. And with Fist of the North Star was one, but me and him like were looking at the Demon Slayer release, and I had the Japanese volume, so
So for the record, like, a lot of my obsession with lettering and sound effects, like, recently, is mainly because of our mutual friend Aiden.
yeah, same.
Yeah.
I mean, that if I'm 100% honest, the reason that I did Dai Dark the way I did it is because I knew Aiden was a fan, and I wanted to make something that he would enjoy. Like, literally. I mean, I wanted to do it for myself, but I kind of like channeled him, and I thought, can I give something that he would enjoy? You know, and then if he enjoys it, then I guess everybody else is going to enjoy it. You know,
it's wholesome.
it is.
but yeah, like Fist of the North Star. Well, I mean, the fans are everything, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you're not like like the way I look at it, right, is like I just found this out. I didn't actually know, but I'm kind of lucky because I kind of live just outside of Tokyo, and they have a big. It's not a Kinokuniya, but it's kind of it might be owned by Kinokuniya. No, it's not. But but it's a big shop, and they have like the top floor is all English manga or English books, and you can actually look inside. I don't know how they do it in the US or England, but usually in like Japanese stores, it's all wrapped in plastic, so you can't see what's inside.
I think
But this one you can, yeah.
sorry, most stores for English volumes, I think a lot of them leave it. I think they only like shrink wrap stuff that has like nudity or stuff like that.
Suggestive content
Okay,
and
that
stuff
makes
like
Usually
that.
mature rated titles are shrink wrapped.
Okay,
Yeah.
but usually they're open.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything else generally
Nah,
speaking is open.
Oh, that ruins my argument then. But like, well, I guess not online. But like, my thing was here, they're all shrink wrapped, even if they're English. So it's like, how do you know what you're getting? Like, you could get something that looks like the old Fist of the North Star, or you could get the new version, and you're not going to know until you buy it. And to me, I don't think that's really fair to the readers, to be honest. I feel like it's, you spend, I don't know, like what, $10 or something, $12 on a book, and you don't know if it's going to be like amazing or if it's going to suck. And I always thought that was kind of like as a reader, it made me think, do I want to buy this book? Well, I don't know because I can't see inside it.
You literally
Like,
have
what
to
does it
judge
look
by the
like?
cover.
Right? And yeah, it's not a good situation to be in. I understand why it's that way. But yeah, like Fist of the North Star is a good example. I mean, the old Fist of the North Star is incredible. The lettering in that, just genius. The way they did it. And the new one, yeah, it's I mean, it's cool that it getting released, but
I like that. That's the best compliment you can give it.
These are my thoughts exactly.
But I mean,
though.
but that's and that's not saying anything to the person who lettered it. But I mean, it's like they've made it worse. Like if I'm completely honest, like that they didn't do it justice. They could have done it
I totally agree.
so much better.
It distracts from the art.
Yeah, I mean, going to like the discussion of sound effects, like I'm fine with English sound effects in manga, but it has to be done well. And I think, like we mentioned, Fist of the North Star is an example of it going wrong. And in cases like that, I'd rather them just like do what we do for like Urasawa releases, where like it stays as is, but it's a case by case basis.
But see, you've got to understand, like, well, so why does Urasawa do that, right? Because he's one of the very few people that get published in Viz that don't have any sound effects erased, you know. And I've never read anything that said I don't like. Do you guys know why he chooses that?
Probably for a lot of the same reasons why he doesn't like his work being digitalized, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he's proud of it.
He takes pride in like the experience of how his work was crafted and how it was experienced like in a physical book.
And like Urasawa's use of sound effects too, like it's so heavily integrated into his artwork that like I think changing it would also be kind of altering the artwork in a way. As weird as that is to say.
Understand that.
Well, yeah,
but
at that point it is part of the page. Like, it's part of the crafted experience.
Well, I mean, he drew everything, right? So it's like, and if you look at any of the way a lot of manga is lettered in English, like if you were as good as he is and you saw the result, like like Demon Slayer, and would you want exactly? You wouldn't want your work to look like that, like I'm not trying to like, I don't want to diss letterers or editors or anybody like that because my work used to be shit. Like one thing that people don't understand is if you're not in the industry, you don't realize how intense it actually is. Like, and okay, I'm just reading comics all day or whatever, but it's like the deadlines and stuff and everyone's under pressure and it's like, just pumping out like next. It never stops. The publishing industry is brutal. So I'm not saying like, I don't want to like say, oh, this person's a shit letterer or this was crap, because we've all done crap work. It's, it's life. But I don't know. I feel like with some, especially with like some books, I feel like it's,
when it's something that it's like a legacy type of series, or it's something that people like a rescue, something that people have expectations for because it's been so long. If it's like if it's something that's coming back after such a long time, or if it's something that's finally getting a release after who knows how many years not being licensed, and people have they have a level of expectation that you would hope would be met because
I agree.
It took them that long to get it out, right? You would assume they're gonna get like the best people for it, the people who will like. And this is not saying anything about the work ethic of whoever gets assigned to what, but it's
well, I mean, it's hard. But no, like, and the thing is, you've got one shot. That's the thing. Like, they're gonna license the book and they're gonna sell the book, and then when that's the result, you're done. Like, it's not getting re-lettered, it's not getting retranslated for like another 20 years. And if you're a fan of the series and that's what they give you and it's a pile of crap, too bad. Like, that's just how they look at it. It's just, and that's the nature of the business. So it is what it is. But I don't know. I just wish people,
I mean, no, I get the sentiment because it's like, it's that one and done mentality. And of course, like with the deadlines, which is why even with the Demon Slayer, when we were comparing the Japanese and English lettering, it's like, on one hand, it's kind of disappointing, especially with a series that is probably going to be a lot of people's gateway into manga, because as big as Demon Slayer is, it like is probably this era's Dragon Ball for a lot of people. So the fact that, and most of them probably won't even notice, as you said, unless you're in the industry, most people won't even notice that the looks offhand. Because I didn't really until VLord pointed out that the person that did the lettering for Fist of the North Star also did Demon Slayer. So I was reading Demon Slayer in English.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't either. And so I was reading Demon Slayer in English, and I'm like, okay, now looking at all the stuff that VLord like posts in our Discord server, like then I just said, okay, let me go back and look at the Japanese ones because I own all of it in Japanese, and it's just like, yeah, it's kind of night and day.
And the sound effects in Demon Slayer in Japanese are amazing, especially like near the end of the manga.
Well, I mean, you've got really tight deadlines and things like that, so it's not, like everyone's trying to do their best. So it's like no one's like intentionally putting out like bad work because they're like, oh, I can't be bothered, whatever. Like nobody's. If you ever see bad lettering, it's like these deadlines are like tight. Like if you work for most publishing companies, I don't know how it is for Viz because I don't work for Viz. But like most companies, you get like 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks max to letter a book, and then you could say, well, that's easy. But if you've got 6 books in that month, then you're pumping out like a book every 5 days.
Dang.
Or, like you're working at like a pretty crazy schedule. So it's not necessarily the letterer's fault. It's not anybody's fault. It's just the way it works. And I think also there's no education on it. So everyone's freelance. So it's kind of like, hey, can you use Photoshop? Yeah. All right. You want to do this? Yeah. All right. Cool. Here you go.
So like say in like your case, Phil, like how many projects do you usually work on at a time?
I work on, I don't know. I do average 6 a month, maybe. So I do 1 a week for Yen, and I do maybe 2 for 7 Seas, and then maybe 1 or 2 for Kodansha every month.
Yeah, dang, that is a lot.
It's a lot of, I mean, I'm fortunate. Like, I don't say, foolishly, I don't say no to anything. I accept everything. Goes back to that. I'm just trying to help the editor.
Yeah.
But there's other people that, I've been doing it for long enough that I've kind of got my workflow down, and I, wake up early, and it's like, it's very scheduled. But I know how it is, and it's always, anything, isn't it? I'm sure it's the same with anybody's job, from the outside looking in, it's like, oh, you're not really doing anything. But when you actually kind of take a peek behind the curtains, you realize, oh, it's actually pretty stressful.
Yeah. I guess
I don't want I don't want to diss anybody. I just, I wish Fist of the North Star was better because that is like the anime that got me into all of this to begin with. Huge fan. It's probably my all-time favorite. Like, I love that. I love the art style. I mean, it's a ridiculous story, but it's just like, it's so unique. And
who's your favorite in Fist of the North Star?
Who's my favorite? I don't know.
I myself in
Jaggy.
Tokyo. Jaggy? Oh, I like that.
I don't know.
He's such a bastard.
Just the mask and the shotgun. I don't know. There's something. It just reminds me of Mad Max.
Oh, good. He's a little bastard. I really like him.
Yeah.
Good. I like.
But yeah.
I guess going on the train of like just how it all works and everything, and knowing how it is. Are there any letterers that you like keep your eye on, or that you really want to shout out for the awesome work they do?
Hard mode. It can't be Aiden.
I mean, we'll just give it an automatic Aiden shout out here.
Nah, but Aiden's good though. Like, he's only done, considering how little he's actually done, it's kind of scary, like how good he is.
Yeah, I was looking at his work on School Zone Girls, and it's insane.
Right?
It's almost like he was Noah Kurosawa's monster all along.
Yeah.
Marion, no.
I'm sorry, I was holding on to that.
Who else? I don't really know, to be honest. There's because a lot of them, like, I see kind of online, but I don't really know the names because I typically read the Japanese version. And a lot of people can't post stuff online because you're not really allowed to post stuff because it's not been released yet a lot of the time. Or, but obviously Brandon Bovia.
Brandon's there.
Yes.
Sarah Lindsley. Sorry if I said that wrong. I always want to say Lindsay, but
that's so weird because they both follow. Like Brandon, I met real life at a con.
They're like the two main prominent ones.
Yeah, they both follow me for some reason. But like Brandon, I know because I met him in real life like twice. and it's funny. The first time we barely knew each other, so it's kind of like a hi and bye thing. And the second time, that's
Yeah,
when he
yeah.
like got like a profile, and he's like really super important now. I'm like, I knew that guy before he was.
Yeah.
So
There's a lot of them behind the scenes. I don't know their real name. That's the thing, Nikki Dubois, but I don't know if that's the real name. And then have you read the new Kirby?
yes,
Yeah,
Oh my
I
god,
did.
that lettering is insane.
Yeah, I love the lettering in the new Kirby.
Like, but I can't remember who did it because I think she stopped after volume 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, who I can't remember the name.
I literally have it on me right now. I'm looking.
Phenomenal. That is what I hope every book looks like. Like, because I had the original Japanese like a while back, and I was really curious like how it was going to end up. And yeah,
Oh,
absolutely amazing job.
oh shoot, I never answered that question. um,
Oh yeah. Also, just to interject, yeah, Kirby was lettered by Gianni Lee.
Okay, yeah, shout out to her.
oh yeah,
Amazing. And of course,
oh yeah.
Chainsaw Man's.
Oh
Oh,
right,
yeah.
that one actually got a shout out from Japan even.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
And Chainsaw Man would be like such a tough comic to letter, I feel, because like that's another case where I feel like Fujimoto's artwork is just like so heavily implemented with the sound effects.
Yeah, it's just integrated together seamlessly.
Yeah, amazing job.
all right, but yeah, just real quick, since you guys answered and I didn't, I guess when I started out just reading manga in English, I was fine with the lettering being done, but the more I kind of sort of transitioned over reading stuff in Japanese, like I feel like I mean, I read, the stuff in a jump vault, but outside of that, I'm reading basically 95% Japanese stuff. So now
Okay.
it is a little jarring to see it in English, see like sound effects in English, especially for a series I just read in Japanese, like let's say Demon Slayer or World Trigger or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's weird to kind of go
World
back.
Trigger though, we got Ace. Ace is so good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's good. It's just super jarring to me sometimes. I'm just like, oh, I just write this thing with this sound effect like this, and now it's like this, but it's like good in both. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's always jarring to me. But otherwise,
Well,
yeah.
hopefully it'll change. That's what I'm kind of hoping. I'm hoping that it'll, and I feel like it is with people. I don't know who's doing hand lettering these days, but I can kind of see it. It's hard because it's not actually always the letterers. It's actually the just the industry as a whole. They don't. Industries don't like change, do they? So it's. But I feel like it could slowly get into like hand lettering stuff and back to how it was in the 90s and 80s. But yeah, I hope it does. That's all I can say. I think it's lack of resources. I think people like Sarah who kind of teach or like show lettering and kind of what is involved in the job is kind of, it's good to promote awareness, and I know it inspires a lot of other letterers. So because there's a lot of talent out there, but again, even with like publishing companies, a lot of them, which is why I'm happy that 7Seas let me do Dai Dark, because a lot of the time you could do a full replacement and it could look like that, and then they'll tell you put the Japanese back. We don't want it this way. So, and that's cool. They've got rules. They don't want everyone to go rogue, and I respect that. So it's not always the letterer's fault. Sometimes there's other decisions being made outside.
Yeah.
So it's a tricky thing to navigate. So, but I think it could slowly change. And then when you get to the Japanese level of sound effects, because the Japanese are masters at sound effects.
They really are.
Yeah.
And it adds so much to the just experience, and fonts are cool, but the original artwork is drawn by hand, so it'd be really cool if like everything kind of had that look to it. We can hope.
Yeah,
agreed.
Also, I'm holding hope for that. Well, all right. We've been talking about like original Japanese lettering. Are there any releases of comics that you keep up with that you work on?
And what do you mean?
In Japanese,
the
Japanese
stuff that
versions. Yeah.
Oh, do I read the Japanese version of stuff that I'm lettering myself?
Yeah.
Dai Dark for sure. Thing is, like, I have to buy all the books for work anyway, so I have all of them.
But you don't always read like
Um,
the stuff that you work on, right?
No.
As in, like, pour over it.
No. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, it's too hard to concentrate a lot of the time. There's one, Eminence in the Shadow, I think it's called.
Eminence in Shadow?
Yeah, that's
Kage no
cool.
Jitsuryoka no...
Yeah, that
something?
one.
That one's...
Yeah, I
that
can
one's
never remember English titles.
Eminence in
Keeping up with
Shadow, yeah.
that. Witch and Beast, I'm keeping up with. It's so many. I don't know if I can say that. There's been a couple that I work on that I don't know if I can talk about them, but
Okay, you can tell me after.
Well, okay.
I don't know. I like, seriously. I do so many books. It's kind of hard to remember what I'm actually working on.
Okay. I mean, this is kind of an out
Just
there
like the
question.
Mhm.
But it is kind of an out there question since we are a sort of Shonen Sunday based podcast.
Right.
But do you read anything in Shonen Sunday since you're out there in Japan and have it? You can easily go get it. Is there anything that you read in Sunday or are familiar with? I shouldn't say read.
Do I read in Sunday? Well, here's the thing. I don't read magazines. So
Okay.
I'm not, because there's too many. It's like, I don't know what
That's
I'm
fair.
reading. Unless it's Jump, I'm just like, I don't know what this is. I know which one. Gesan is Dai Dark, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
guess on that's monthly Shonen Sunday. So
Okay, well, I read that one, and that one I like Dai Dark. When will Ayumu make his move?
that's Shonen Magazine.
Okay,
I mean,
but
the
yeah,
author,
that's
the author,
the only magazine that I
the author
read.
does stuff in Gessan.
Yeah, they do
Takagi,
Takagi.
and there's
Takagi-san.
there's also the Kunoichi one, which the name is escaping me right
Noichi
now.
Noichi?
Oh,
I forgot.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, but it's the same author. But yeah, the When Will Ayumu Make His Move is actually weekly Shonen magazine.
Okay. Yeah, to be honest, I get completely confused with magazines.
Okay.
I basically, what I do is I just go to Kinokuniya every week, and if I see a cover that looks cool, I'll pick it up. But
That's...
yeah,
So
magazines
sooner or later,
are too
you're
much
gonna
for
pick
me.
up... Sooner or later, you're gonna pick up Soso no Frieren.
I might.
Just a matter of time at this point.
Yeah, So No Free Run, the big thing from Sunday now. Which
That's our beloved right now.
yes.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that
yes.
and Sobote.
Yes. Relatively so. I mean, it's actually just a month ago. It passed a year of serialization. So,
Okay.
like, yeah, and then
That's like 2 books.
well, it's weekly, so it's 5. Actually,
okay.
5 is coming out next. 5 is coming out next month. So
And
yeah,
the English release is coming out, I think it's November or September?
Yep,
yes,
November.
November.
Okay.
So,
So you
but that's
can look forward to that.
and yeah, as VLord pointed out, Sobote, if we're talking about sound effects like Fujita's, that's hard mode. That's,
Okay.
he
Fujita
does-
is like the Dragon Force.
his stuff is like he's completely my aesthetic. 2-page spreads with like just huge text on them, and yeah, that's him. I love him so much.
That's
But
too.
yeah. Unfortunately, none of his stuff has really been brought out here. So, listening to you, I'm getting the idea that it's just that people are just like it's too much for any one letterer to handle. They need a small team. And
Yeah. Well, some people do work in teams. You know, I've had people reach out to me and say, you know, can you help like retouch these pages and stuff like that. So,
Ooh,
you know,
okay.
it is a lot of work. It's like, that's the thing. And again, back to the like bad lettering. Like it's like you don't want to make excuses for it, but at the same time, if you realize that a lot of people kind of work 14 hours a day, 16 hours a day, it's, you know, you kind of start to understand like, okay, you know, it's not that simple. It's not just,
You're gonna get
it is copy and paste, but it's a little bit more complicated.
Okay, I guess we have a listener question from our good friend Aiden at Cowboy B-Boy. I love saying that out loud on Twitter. Do you have any favorite sound effects from this first volume? Any certain ones that you're proud of?
In Dai Dark.
Yeah, Dai Dark Volume.
All the big ones. If it's big and it's got screen tone or something, which is like where it has like goes from gray to white, like a gradient. I like those the best. I like the big ones. I'm the same as I like really big double page spreads with like big sound effects. And big
Yo, that's me.
I think it just looks badass. So any chance I get to do one of those is definitely my favorite.
Yeah, like some of my favorites from this first volume was during the black hole chapter where they're going through it, and there's like all those like big like whoa and like womb sound effects.
Yes,
those ones. So, and I mean, as a letterer, also like the English is usually longer, which forces the letters down to a really small size. So, like especially if you subtitle stuff and you're not actually erasing the Japanese, and so it's always fun to kind of just be free and just do a big version, you know, because I mean it's text. Like if it's too small, you can't read it, but it has to be the same. It has to look the same as the Japanese. It has to kind of be the same width and, you know, aesthetically the same. So, but you don't really. It's tricky to do that with really small sound effects. So, I love doing big ones. It's definitely the most fun.
Yeah, I'm looking at page 136. Oh. Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
It also just reads so well because like on one of the ones I'm looking at, like they're getting sucked into the black hole, and like the curve on the woe is curving the same way that the bodies are too. It's so good.
Right. Yeah, that was kind of a tricky one to do, but like, what do you guys think? Like, what do you think if I had done a subtitled version of that versus the version that you have? Like, which one would you prefer? Because I'm always curious. Like, I always prefer the Viz style of doing stuff, and like until I became a letterer, I didn't really pay attention to it. I always like looked at One Piece and things like that, and I just thought, wow, it looks amazing, you know, because you're not comparing to the original Japanese, and I still think it looks good, but because I'm in the industry and I see the Japanese, you know, my attitude's changed a little bit. But from like a reader's perspective, what do you guys think? Like, do you think you would have preferred to see the sound effects in Dai Dark? Or do you think I was right to erase everything? Like, you can be honest.
I don't know what the original looks like.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think what you did here, I'm completely content with not knowing, just because I think going that extra effort to like erase it and redraw it, like it came out like beautifully.
Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, it looks really good. Like if I didn't like have a mean, I mean, I could go buy the Japanese one, but if I couldn't, I would be just perfectly fine with just having this. I would be reading it. I wouldn't really even be comparing it. I would just be like, okay, I just want to kind of see it from a point of view of why did you do it this way, or how did this look originally?
Okay.
But let's say I had no means of getting the Japanese one, then this would be fine. I wouldn't, not even fine, but it's exemplary because like I'm looking at the black hole pages that everybody was talking about, and they look great. Like if I didn't know any better, I would swear that this is how it is, because you do have some mangaka that like use, you know, English lettering in their sound effects. I mean, My Hero Academia being probably one of the most popular examples. But like, yeah, I would think that this is just the way it was, you know, in most of these examples.
Yeah, I agree. Like, there was never really a moment while reading this that I felt like I was missing something by having English sound effects. And I think that just goes to a testament of like how much effort and work you put into them to really like make it like fit with everything else.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. Hopefully I can well, I want hopefully all the letters can kind of go in that direction if they want to. It's a lot of work, but
I think,
at the end of the day, I think a reading experience is the most important.
Yeah, like I said, like some of my favorite work when it comes to like like redrawing and like replacing the text is usually stuff that Ace does. I'm really a big fan of. But I think the best kind of work that where it's like little like subtitling it under the original Japanese. I think actually the one title that I wouldn't even mind if Viz kept the same way that it was like serialized weekly was actually
Yeah.
Haikyuu, because
Okay.
the way that that series was done. Hold on, what was the letter? Was I have this written down? But like that's another series where it's a little almost a bit like Chainsaw Man, where the SFX are kind of like integrated with the art, and like you'll see stuff
Yeah.
uh like the SFX for someone jumping and it's like in front of the net, and it'll follow like the shape of like them jumping, and then
Yeah.
maybe if it's something like a shadow cast from the net, maybe it'll be worked in there or whatever. But then whatever fonts that the letter chooses for that, it feels completely unobstructive. Like it's still, it doesn't detract at all from the art.
Okay.
Like I feel like that's like the ideal to pursue for that style where you're not replacing it entirely.
Yeah. Well, it should be. Yeah, it should be. You don't really want to notice it. That's the weird thing about lettering,
Yeah,
right? You don't want to notice it.
Also, yeah, the letter for Haikyuu it was Erica Tarikaz.
yes. Erica Trikas and I think Vanessa Satoni is like some of my other like favorite Viz letters.
Yeah, I think Viz does a pretty good job. You know, I like the Fist of the North Star thing. I think is just like as a fan, I was kind of like,
Yeah.
you know, like other stuff I wouldn't really care about, and it's weird because when I read English manga that's lettered, I mean lettered in English, actually I don't really pay attention to sound effects. So even as a letterer, I'm not really paying attention. So I can understand why people like say that no one cares about lettering because it's, you know, it's the story and the pictures is the main thing, right?
Yeah, it's kind of what's the word, like
unobtrusive.
Unobtrusive. It's almost thankless because of the nature of like you're not supposed to stand out that much unless it's like an obvious thing.
But I think Viz do a pretty good job though, you know, as far as the people that they've got doing stuff for them. And it's certainly not an easy job. It takes a long time. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully it just gets better and better, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping. I think the fans deserve it. You know, whether or not that's the thing. You don't know what you want until someone shows you, right? Like until the iPhone 1 came out, nobody knew they wanted an iPhone.
True.
You know? And then Apple were like, "Here you go, check this out." And everyone's like, "Oh, what's that? I want one of those."
I will say though, I do still want audio jacks.
Yeah.
Oh, I miss the audio jack.
I do too. Like, I mean, AirPods are great, but
AirPods are also expensive, though.
Yeah, that's
all that money you can buy more manga. Shit.
Yeah, I could buy 20 copies of Dai Dark.
Do it.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's just buy all the Dai Dark we possibly can. But yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you because again, I didn't really think about lettering until, like I said, VLord brought it up. Then it was the thing. I was like, huh. So, I mean, even when I'm reading Japanese manga, when I was talking about my aesthetic, it's more like, you know, the dual page spread and like in parentheses, Japanese parentheses, the attack name, and then that's just my thing. But I never really think about like sound effects in that way, like as much as like until VLord brought it up and that one time, and now it is like on my mind. I mean, I almost wish I could go back to a time where I wasn't thinking about them, but
it was interesting too because like the other day we were looking at the French release of Moonlight Act by Kazuguru Fujita, and like just the amount of effort they put to like replicating just the feel of all of Fujita's sound effects. And when we went to like the back of the book to see the credits, they had like 4 letterers working on it to like do everything.
Sounds about right.
Yeah,
But
it
yeah,
was absurd.
French do amazing releases. Like they really, not always, but a lot of them they pay attention. To I feel like that's kind of where I would like to see things go. Like I'm doing Su and Tai-chan, which is like the cheese. Was it Cheese Sweet Home?
Sweet, yeah.
It's the next one after that called Su and Tai-chan, so it's about cats. But it's actually from the French version, and so they've like colored it, flipped it, like done everything to it, and it's amazing.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because the Japanese is black and white, but then the French team, did all. I mean, it looks like it's watercolor. Like really did a good job, and then Kodansha took that, and then that's what they're publishing. So, yeah, I've got a lot of respect for the French manga market, and they publish loads of stuff that you can't get in English, which is always
that is so
yeah.
true.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting though. So, is that something that happens often? Like that they'll use another edition instead of the Japanese one, or is that? I mean,
the only one I know of.
Okay. Yeah, no, I was about to say I don't. Well, I mean, let me rephrase. Not something often, but like I didn't know that was a thing that happened.
Yeah, I mean, Kodansha's most newest release of Cheese Sweet Home also does that, but I think that's just a thing specific to like that creator that they do.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the only one I've seen like that. But I'm glad that they did it because I saw I actually don't have a copy of the English version, but I saw it for the first time last week, and it just it looks so good. Not because of me, but but just like the way they did it. They did it. Quality is really really nice. So, and I'm glad it's color because it just
looking at the preview on Kodansha's website. This is good.
You got to get the paper version.
I guess I'll go to Kinokuniya tomorrow.
You're gonna turn this into a Kodansha show. It's
we need to start one now.
No. I'm done.
But then we can have Phil on again to talk about Su and Tai-chan.
Okay, now that you put it that way, because I like talking to Phil, I just don't want to edit anything else.
We'll hire an editor at that point.
All right, that works. But yeah, no, I'm definitely in agreement with the French because like most of the people following WSSTB are French. Because I remember I don't know what it was that one day that I mean we have like 2 French publishers following it, so like apparently they're like really big Shogakukan fans there because like I don't know what it was. I don't know if I asked a question or if just some French like follower just happened to just say, "Hey, thanks for what you're doing." A lot of us in France really love what you're doing with the Shogakukan stuff, and yeah, they seem to be really big on Shogakukan there. I obviously I'm not an expert, so take this with a grain of salt. But it seems like they really have a good relationship. A lot of the publishers I see seem to have a good relationship with Shogakukan, especially.
Yeah, from what I've seen, and they've got good taste.
Yeah.
Like they put out. There's so many things. Like I want Kaneko Atsushi.
Yes, I know.
Like I know his stuff's in French, but I don't think it's been published in any other language that I know of. And I can't, for the life of me, I can't figure it out. I'm like, why is this not published in English? Like his work is stunning, story and artwork, and it's the same. What did I see the other day? Was it City Hunter or something? Like just like old stuff like that, Cat's Eye and things. There's like a load of old manga that like gets special treatment in like European countries, but for some reason, the US market it just doesn't want to deal with it, and it just makes me jealous.
I was on Amazon France the other day, and I saw they had like a beautiful release of the Yowara manga, and I was super tempted to just buy it right on the spot.
Do it, VLord. We could talk about it on here, and you can tell us about it in French. You could just read it in French, just on. We'll have an episode like
I
that.
mean, my French is better than my Japanese, so I could actually get through it all.
Good. Let's do this. See, we just got a new show planned now. I mean, a new episode planned. But all right, I guess if we don't have anything else to ask, we can probably. What do you think, host?
I was having such a good time. Uh, I guess we'll transition. I think we didn't talk as much about the actual volume of Dai Dark, which is kind of funny, but
I mean, it's
You know,
good.
it's good. Yeah, like go read it. Obviously, like I feel like there isn't that much to say because it's still it's an introductory volume. We got cool characters introduced. I think going forward, I'm really going to be looking forward to the dynamics established through, like Shimada death and like this kid's name. I forgot his name.
Character.
Yeah,
Zaha.
main character. Yeah. Zaha Sanko and Avakian. Like it's a colorful cast right now. I'm interested in seeing who else is going to join the ship, stuff like that. Yeah, like it's such a ripe foundation, I think. Which is
I want to know who
Hmm?
Damemaru is.
Oh yeah,
What's he called? Hajimaru.
Hajime Damemaru.
Yeah.
Hajime Tono.
Like, I'm curious to see what he's all about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, his design looks really cool at the very least.
Yeah, there's a glimpse of him. I haven't actually have it, but I haven't read it. But yeah, number 2, you kind of get an idea of why who he is, but not really. So, but he seems like he could be like a big character.
Oh, we get drifts of lore.
Yeah, Shimada death. They're kind of like, can you trust her? I don't know, because right now they're kind of friends, right?
Yeah.
Zaha
Yeah.
and Shimada death, but Shimada death just kills everybody. So
Shimada's so funny. I feel like that kind of attitude, like personality type, is very what's the word? It's very indicative of like the kind of story that this is, and I really appreciate the tone. It's pretty whimsical.
yeah,
Like Jorahadoro, people really liked because it was able to mix in that kind of tone along with like the more serious parts, the whole mystery of like who is Kaiman and like
Yeah.
that all that stuff. Like I'm really looking forward to seeing how Q Hayashida really incorporates that into this new world. Or who knows if it's related or not, but yeah. Well, it's a very strong first volume.
yeah,
What was that?
I think so, and I think volume 2 is better. So,
Nice. I'm looking forward to that because actually, like when I did first read it, like halfway through, I was still like, I don't quite get it yet. And then by the end, I'm like, okay, yeah, now I'm more like acclimated into like the world and like I kind of get what is what Hayashida's kind of going for. So
Yeah.
once like volume 2 comes out and I get to see more of like, okay, this is gonna start hitting its own rhythm. Like that's what I'm looking forward to the most.
yeah, I think it'll start to pick up pace. And the other thing I was thinking about was Shimada death is like collecting souls, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it like 1,000? She needs 1,000 or something. I can't remember.
Something like
I feel like I read that, and then I've read the book like 3 times. I feel like when I first read it, it was like 1,000, and then now I'm thinking, is that a different book? But it is Dai Dark, right? And she like eats the souls as if they're like chicken.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're all shaped like chicken.
Kentucky Fried
Right.
Souls.
Right. So I'm curious
There's
to see
the
where that
episode title.
goes. Like,
So,
once
are you
get
telling?
1,000, what's
No,
going
go
to
ahead. No, so you're saying then dark meat would be Dark Souls.
Oh my god.
Brought me here.
Sakaki, why?
You brought me here.
Now it sounds like we're recording a Shaman King episode.
Oh my god.
We just missed recording that first, so it's been so long since we recorded. We just sort of miss it. We're kind of oozing into it.
All right, that's an explosive death for you. I think it's time to transition. Phil,
Mhm.
do you have anything that you want to plug in and like maybe your social media or whatever works you're doing?
Nah. People can find me if they want to. Phil Christie or PS Christie on Twitter. Yeah,
Okay.
whatever. I don't really post that often, to be honest.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
too,
I'll follow
I
you
don't want to say
anyway.
lazy, but yeah. Yeah, do I follow? I don't even know.
I don't think
I think
so. I think you maybe follow VLord.
Yeah, you follow
yeah, I do
me.
follow VLord, but I'll have to follow you guys as well.
All right,
But yeah, I'm
cool.
kind of not really that active, to be honest.
It's okay. I'm not as much either these days, but it was very fun having you. This
Yeah,
conversation was
likewise. Thank you.
very fruitful, very informative, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners will also appreciate what you have to
Yeah,
say. So
hope so. Sorry if I babble on too much,
don't apologize.
No,
But
this
everybody
show.
have confidence. If you want to be a translator, go do it.
Have
No
confidence.
problem. Have confidence. That's all I gotta say.
And
All right.
that's our Phil talk. We don't have a TED,
Yes.
so it has to be a Phil talk.
Do it. Do it. Nobody has confidence at the start.
All right.
But yeah, thank you.
Sakaki, boss man.
Oh, right. I should talk about me. I don't know why I should. There's really anyway. You can find me.
VLord, you do it.
What? Okay, shoot. Go, VLord.
Wait, go first or plug Sakaki stuff for him?
Plug Sakaki stuff for him.
Okay.
Okay, shit. Let's do this.
Yeah, you can find Sakaki on Twitter at Kiribon, KIIROBON. He claims that he doesn't do anything on there, but he actually does a lot. He's a super awesome person, and you should go follow him. But he's also the editor-in-chief of Weekly Shogakukan Edition, which you can find on Twitter at WSS Talkback. Sakaki posts various Shogakukan news and also goes through the entire Weekly Shonen Sunday magazine every week. There are many magazine Twitters out there, but WSS Talkback is the only one that goes through the entirety of its respective magazine. And there's also a WSSTB blog, which you can find on Blogspot at wsstalkback.blogspot.com. There are various reviews from people such as Marion and, as we mentioned before, Jekka. So you can check out a lot of those. The most recent review on there is from Marion about Cirque du Freak. So
Me? Hello?
Oh, actually, yeah, that's from Jekka. Yeah, from Jekka about
You are
Cirque
doing
du Freak.
such a good job.
Yeah, I messed
I'm
up.
honored.
I failed.
I'm honored that like my writing is so good I don't have to do it.
I'm so used to Marion being the most frequent person on the blog. But nah, the Cirque du Freak reviews from Jekka. I actually read the review. It's really good. So yeah, go give it a read. And Sakaki also does a podcast with our good friend Colton about Dragon Ball. It's called Another Day, Another Adventure. And you can find that on Twitter at AnotherDBPod. And I believe the first few episodes have started to come out publicly. So you can check those out. And you can get ahead by subscribing to the Manga Mavericks Patreon.
Correct. Now, Sakaki, why don't you plug in VLord?
No.
I'm just going to plug myself. I know that's too hard for him.
No, VLord.
No. If I know this was going to be it, I would have just plugged my own stuff. I don't remember anything he does.
Okay.
Yeah,
Don't worry
I'm
about
not going to let Sakaki
Don't worry about it.
suffer.
I'll do it.
No, I'll do it. You can find me
follow
on Twitter.
Shut up, VLord. By the way, Phil, this is how we usually are.
Yes.
You can find VLord on
This
Twitter.
is our best
Twitter.
behavior, honestly.
Yeah, I just like going on power trips sometimes. Don't worry about it. You can find VLord on Twitter at VLordGTZ. He also writes reviews for all-comic.com. he says that he's usually losing sleep or not sleeping at all. Do me a favor, follow him and tell him to go to sleep. He also writes reviews and editorials and sometimes breaking news articles for ToonamiFaithful.com. Definitely check out his stuff there. I know that he's working on a particular piece. It's definitely probably going to be out by the time this episode is up. It
definitely will be, or else I'll be murdered.
You'll be murdered by CJ, our good editor friend.
But at least you'll be getting sleep at that point.
No, I won't.
Yeah, I guess you will.
Shut up, VLord. It's about Promised Neverland Season 2 and why that was a disaster. I know everyone is going to be ready to dunk on that. And yeah, besides that, VLord also is the host, the original host of the Demon Slayer podcast, which you can find on Twitter at DSlayer Podcast. And we also are a part with him on Oversaw, the Shaman King podcast. Besides that, he has his own other project called the Dumb Weeds Podcast at Dumbweeds Pod. Weebs Pod. Yeah, did I forget anything?
Nah, I think you got everything. I'm impressed.
What do you mean? I hear you say this every week.
Yeah, but I know Sakaki couldn't do it, so I didn't want to keep my hopes up.
All right, Sakaki, you can redeem yourself. Plug me.
No, all I remember is microwaving the E before the V.
That's all you need, baby. That's all you need.
You know my memory's terrible. Okay, I'll try. God, I hate this. This is my fault, though. So as I just said, as with all the other shows, Marion's with us on all those, and you can find Marion at microwavy, the E before the V on Twitter. They also do a Haikyuu podcast, which is currently on hiatus until maybe the anime comes back or something big happens. You can also find them at their blog with writing stuff that isn't Shogakukan related or Toonami Faithful related at Heaven's Doorknob. And I think that's Heaven's Doorknob at WordPress.
.wordpress.com. Nice. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. All right. Also validated. Yes, and they do all kinds of really great writing there. Like Marion's writing has always inspired me. Like, if you haven't read their Berserk tribute, their Berserk tribute on Toonami Faithful, you should. You owe it to yourself, Berserk fan or not, because that inspired me to write my Fire Force piece, which is also on.
Nice.
Besides that,
you can find all my other projects on a card that's also linked in my Twitter description. But yes, you can find Saturday Night Shoggy on Twitter at SatNightShoggy, and all of our episodes are wherever podcasts are found. We're primarily hosted on Anchor, but you can also find it on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, whatever, you name it. If they host podcasts, we're probably there. Make sure to leave us a review or like a rating and a review if you really like us. I know that helps with like the algorithm and stuff. So yeah, I mean, we're just friends out here trying to spread the love of manga, and yeah, do us that favor. Thank you again, Phil. It was a blast.
That's right. Thank you.
I want you to come on for something else. We'll make an excuse.
Dai Dark too.
We'll find something else to Shoggy publish to bring you on for. Maybe volume 2 of Dai Dark.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope you had fun as well. I hope everyone else.
Good, thanks.
I hope everyone else had
I
fun.
didn't say too much.
What do you mean? Not enough. More like.
Nah, because it's one of those things. I don't want to attack anybody on like. The Fist of the North Star thing. I feel bad saying that, but I mean everyone's thinking it. So
I don't. Yeah, I'll take full responsibility for that. Viz-sama, please relax. It's okay.
I mean, Viz likes us. They won't murder us.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It was all in good faith. It was nothing malicious at all. As our multiple disclaimers, trying to like not bring down any individuals was brought up. But yeah, again, we hope you enjoyed this episode. Definitely look forward to next month, where we will be. Can we talk about this, VLord? We can just give them like a little sneak peek.
I mean, what is our plan for next month? We have to discuss that.
Oh, yeah, we probably should.
Next month is a mystery.
And no, we
Leave us a
don't.
comment on Twitter.
And no, when we say mystery, we don't mean Detective Conan. We are not doing a Detective Conan episode.
At least not until it ends.
So we're never doing a Detective Conan episode.
Probably. Depends when we're around in 10 years.
So I plan to be dead. So the two of you
Hello?
guys can discuss.
That's literally not gonna happen.
Anyway, yes.
I will wake you up and revive you. Like,
Oh my
relax.
god.
Anyway, this is the time where I have to come up with something random and stupid to end the pod on, like a stupid joke. Someone give me a flash of inspiration.
We had.
I got nothing.
We Dai Suki our fans. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh god, that was bad.
Don't take my underwear. I don't know.
That was so bad. I
Did you ever?
comment on his sweater already. Mom spaghetti, meatball spaghetti. Yeah.
What the heck?
Anyway,
That
I
was
just wanted
slightly
to.
better.
I wanted to. I was thinking of fucking that Eminem song when I saw meatball spaghetti on the fucking Dai Dark. Anyway, yeah, there you go. Stupid joke.
Chef.
And,
Chef Boyar Dark. Let's go.
Chef Boy Dai Dark.
Yes.
What the heck?
All right. I'm gonna do some shitty MS Paint edit, and it's gonna be like Shamada death on the Chef Boyardee phone.
Yes. Use that as the image for this episode, please.
All right.
Okay.
Good night, everyone.
Good
Thanks
night.
for listening.
Later.
Have a good Shoggy evening.